Welcome aboard. One step closer to the start of the National Football League season. I can't wait. We are rapidly approaching. We have organized team scrimmages today with the Cleveland Browns. Also tomorrow, then you have a game on Sunday with those same Browns. And obviously the news of the day is Deshaun Watson. We're going to get to that here in a minute. We're going to get a redo here. Our friend Joe Theismann will try to hook up with us in this hour. We hope to get Joe on at the bottom of the hour and talk and get his spin. Also, the former MVP of the National Football League, who also works with the NFL Network. We will speak with him. That will be at the bottom of the hour. Let me give you my spin here first on Deshaun Watson. And let's do this with a little bit of – let's do this with some seriousness here to it, okay? Instead of just, goofing around and kind of making it lighthearted. I don't think it is. I'm going to flat out tell you, I think this is a gigantic win for the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. It is a massive win for them. He's going to get on the field this year. He's going to continue his NFL career. And the more quarters that he puts behind him, this will be put in the rearview mirror like everything else in our country. If we just watch certain things and how things look when we just are in mainstream media, the more distance that you put behind it, the better off the story will be in the long run. And this is why earlier, and by the way, I went and gave Barrett some insight because I had talked to Bernie Kosar, who's part of the preseason broadcast team for the Browns, and he was getting ready to scrimmage against the Philadelphia Eagles this afternoon. And after the press conference, the Browns had changed their opinion and their direction on what they wanted to do when it came to handling Deshaun Watson. I actually think that this is a brilliant move. Get him out of the public eye right now. The more you get this out of the public eye, the better for the Browns, the better for the NFL, the better for Deshaun Watson, and better for the victims. And again, I say victims, even though he hasn't been found guilty in a court of law. Okay? Remember, the NFL court of public opinion is what matters to the league. That's all they care about is the winds of public opinion. And that's how they basically tell you the things that you want to hear. The media, they're talking more to the media than they are to the fan base. But this is a gigantic win. He got $44.6 million of a signing bonus already that's in his bank account. And he's still working off of the old deal. It's very limited on the amount of money that he's making. So that fine of $5 million, and again, 11 games, $5 million is what the league and the Players Association and Deshaun Watson have come up with. So to me, I think if you're Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, you're Andrew Berry, congratulations to you. You won this. You knew before you signed Deshaun Watson, you were going to have to go through public scrutiny. Get this, the $5 million fine, chicken feed in the whole grand scheme of things. Chicken feed. End of the day, this is more about getting his career going and having a franchise quarterback in Cleveland. That is exactly what this is all about here. This is more about getting this stuff going here, or that the Cleveland Browns, okay, have won this. Oh, my God, I'm sure that this is coming from the greatness of Pauly Shore here, but reports trickling in that Eagles wide receivers are torching Browns defense, and Jalen Hurts is on fire against the Browns defense. Hey, I tell you what, man. Just when I thought I was out, they pull my ass back in again. Holy cow, man. He's torching the Browns. Okay, I can't wait for this Saturday kicker to kick on Sundays. I cannot wait. You know that guy that's in practice on Saturday and he's killing it and he's putting it through the uprights? And then when there's 2 minutes to go in the game, oh, Watson ain't getting no views. That practice, though, will. Listen to this. Hey, screw the Watson story, even though it's the biggest sports story going right now. And I happen to agree. I'm kind of with Barrett. Let's move on This thing is going to be old news in 10 days. This will be old news. Okay? Deshaun Watson won and the Browns won. All right, let's move on here. Joe Theismann, bottom of the hour, as I say. Can I ask you a decent question that nobody in your market will ask? Xander, nobody in this market asks this one question about your boy Jalen Hurts. How much better is he than a year ago? How much better is he? And don't tell me about ball spinning. Don't tell me about fundamentals. Everybody has great fundamentals in practice. But when you get in a game and you got to resort to what you're comfortable with, you always resort to that. The reason for practice is you practice for perfection. Technique, tackling, hitting. You practice the fundamentals. Of course, you're going to get better with fundamentals in practice. The key is, are you going to apply those things that you've been practicing on the field? So I put a Twitter question out. How much of an improvement do you think Jalen has improved? 10%? 20%? 30%? 40%? What do you think Jalen Hurts has improved? How has he improved? You're damn right I love the Jalen Hurts topic because your football season, Eric, is based on that guy. Your entire Eagles season is based on one guy. One guy. Not Hassan Reddick, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. One dude. Paulie Sure says that Jalen Hurts has improved 75%. Carson Wentz says 5%. Somewhere in the middle there, I'm probably going to land. How much worse is Aaron Rodgers on peyote and no more Devontae Adams? I don't think there's going to be a drop-off in Green Bay. I think they're going to win 13 games again. That's my prediction. I think they're going to have as much success. See, here's the difference. Aaron Rodgers can lose Devontae Adams and still win 13 games. You add A.J. Brown and you think you're going to win 13 games. There's a difference. The quarterback in Green Bay, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. Even with Minnesota in that division, he's going to be all right. He's going to be good, man. Promise you. Aaron Rodgers will be in the conversation at the end of the year for the MVP again. Vikings win the division. I feel pretty good about that too, Jay. I'm kind of in there too. Sure says Hurts is killing it today. Yeah. Oh, man. Killing it. Talk about practice. How much do you really think this guy's improved? How much has Jalen improved and where did he improve? Man, this is really great. The timeline is flooded with Eagles. Hey, Hurts is on fire. Man, Jalen is on fire. Okay, how much has he improved? I want to know. Okay, how much has he gotten better? You can't improve on the deficiencies he has. Jesus, the crime, and can I ask a question? He's on fire. Jalen Hurts is on fire. I want to know how much you think he's improved. The timeline everywhere. IP us. The Inquirer. Eagles. Come on, man. This guy's on fire. Wait till he hits a tough game. He's in a tough game. Browns controlled scrimmages. What are you, crazy? That's a meaningful game, dude, like the Jets game. Oh, 4,000 passing yards. He's on fire. Wow, man. Ooh. Wait a minute here. Jalen Hurts is on fire, man. Man. On fire, literally? No, I don't think so. Well, then again, it is Lake Erie and it is Cleveland, so you never know. Manster, guys on fire, bro. Wait, we're getting more updated. Rumor has it Novacare is seasoning the crow themselves for Big Sills. That's it. Yeah. Oh my God. I can't wait for the crow. I like it cold. Like it cold. Man, cannot wait. Man, hey, I can't wait until I'm wrong here. Oh my God. This is going to be fantastic. 5,000 passing yards, 14-3. I mean, shit. Sills is the biggest Hurts hater. No, Richard. I like people to show me instead of telling me. That's the difference between me and you. Someone could sell you a bill of goods, not me. I've seen too much of this. Hey, were the Lions undefeated last year in the exhibition season? Woo-hoo. That's a hell of an undefeated offseason. Hurts on fire. They're handing out Lombardis right after the practice, says Carson. How much has the dude improved? Can I tell you how much I think he's improved? Probably 10%. I think he's probably improved 10% from a year ago. That sounds about right. Most guys, 10%, 10%, 10% over a 3-year period. You've gotten better. 30% of the 30% from when you first got in the league. That's pretty good. If you're thinking this guy got 50% better from January, you're out of your tree. So, I mean, and where did you see the Jet game? Even Gardner Minshew killed that team last year. Hey, Big Sills, you're a hater so bad. You see this good and don't care. It's not true, man. I'm being real. Congratulations. He's killing it today in Cleveland Browns scrimmage, organized team practice. Yeah. I'm giving him kudos. Why are you saying I'm hating on him? Carson says a 10% leap, I still want him gone. 10% I say he's improved from last year. Why can't anyone answer that? How much you think that guy's improved from a year ago? Let me see. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. In 8 months, how much do you think he's improved? 30%. Wow. Wow. How much better did I don't give a shit about Josh Allen. He got a contract extension. He's the number 1 seed. I'm talking about your boy. I'm not talking about Joe Burrow. Or those guys are elite. I ain't comparing them to anybody. I'm talking about your guy. 18%. That's a lot. Christopher says, honestly, 25%. That's also a lot. Can he throw further? Who cares if he could throw further? Is he accurate? See, Carson, that's the difference with arm talent and arm strength. Arm talent is what you're kind of striving for here, not arm strength. I could get guys at a local high school, and some of these guys have stronger arms than some of the NFL quarterbacks. But are you accurate like Rodgers and them dudes? GT says something, and here's a guy who's actually taking a little bit of my sarcasm here, and he's getting it here. 10% might be good enough. Right. But I think he's learned to take what the defense – GT's got to take right there. That's it, GT. You're right. That's where I am. That's where I am. That's right. Perfect. Yes, sir. GT, that's not hating either. Pro Football Focus has him at 49-21 and 37. Holy jeez. If he does 49-21, Jalen Hurts will be the most valuable player in the National Football League. Man, I can't wait. This is 1% better every day. No, you ain't. You're a hater. Thank you very much. Hey, all around auto service parts and sales. So you moonlight as a guy over at Auto Parts, and then you also are a guy who at night is Nostradamus. Is that right? You kind of like see people's minds, man. I like the gig. I hate Pro Football Focus too, Jay. I think they're full of shit. Yeah, baby. MVP. Woo! I'll tell you this, though. I'm going to throw this at you. Can I say something here? By the way, Joe Theismann, bottom of the hour. We hope. Hey, hang on here. Are you ready? Jimmy Garoppolo's still out there. Jimmy G's still there. And I know your boy's on fire today. He's on fire. So if Burrow burns out this year, what's the excuse going to be, Sills? So let me see. He took the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl in his first full year starting, and he's burned out. What I would tell you is this. If I were Jalen, I wouldn't want to be in the AFC. Joe Burrow could win 10 games and not make the playoffs this year. Hell, he could win 11 games this year and not make the playoffs. It's going to be packed. That's the varsity. The NFC is the JV this year. Okay? The NFC is the JV. JV, baby. The hell are they smoking at PFF? Oh, no. Wait a minute, Joseph. 5,000 yards. He's going to go from 3,100 to 5,000. Man, MVP. That's crazy great. Man. They must have just sat around last night with the hookah and going like this. What do you think we get them Philly fans going like this? You know, what could get them going? What could get them on our side where they'll get us all? Oh, hey, wait. Who's that dude? Who's that dude at JAKIB Media? What's his name? Xanderish? Xander? He just wants clicks, man. Anything Jalen Hurts. Hey, fuck the Phillies. Give me all Jalen all the time. 5,000 clicks. Click. PFF, newsroom, Jalen Hurts, 7,000 passing yards. And Jalen's hair's on fire in the Cleveland Browns scrimmage. This is unbelievable, man. What a way to start our show. Holy shit. Hey, man. And Big Sills didn't say it. 49-21. 37 touchdowns. Damn. Wow. Be on the cover of Madden. You're damn right, GT. This guy be like Michael Vick on the cover of Madden. Oh. At least you know what's going on. Hey, all around auto service and sales sold. Unbelievable, man. Wow. What a hate. Why am I He's killing it today in organized team practices. Pro Football Focus has him thrown for 5,000 yards and almost 40 touchdowns. Jesus. I mean, man. Wow, he only had, what did he have, 16 last year? 40, man, 40, 24 more touchdowns. Jesus, criminy. This is unbelievable. It's a better year than Tom Brady's going to have. This guy's going to have a better year than Patrick Mahomes. Hurts, SVN has arrived. Yeah. Hey, I can't believe what's going on here, man. You're being sarcastic. How do you know that all around auto service and sales? I got to come up with something shorter than that. Hey, funny. It almost AAAS should be ASS, but hey, it's all good. I'm being sarcastic. Hurts is not noodle arm. No. 4,700 yards. 49, excuse me. Oh, is it total yards? Wow. So he's going to be 1,000-yard rusher and a 4,000-yard passer. Man, what a weapon. So you're telling me he's Lamar Jackson. Okay. Oh, man. Wow. What a way to start it out. Thank you. Past the Roach clip. Hey, Cheech, did you see what they said in Pro Football Focus? Jalen's going to have 5,000 total yards, 40 touchdowns. Bank on it, baby. I'm putting a bud from Humboldt County on it. Kirk Cousins is mediocre, but not your guy. No way. You kidding me? Not with those stats. Shore says O-line not having a good day, but Jalen is. Well, that's because you don't hit anybody in practice. You don't hit quarterbacks in practice, even team organized drills. You don't hit the quarterback. Are you crazy? That's why it's controlled. A little different when you're standing in the pocket and you're not getting hit. And you know you're not getting hit. Now, the receivers are getting hit. The O-line not having a good day. Jalen is. Man, I want a Corona right now. He's the new Kaepernick. Just don't take a knee, kid. Well, I wonder. You probably be all right maybe in Philly. I got Hurts finishing at 4,200 passing yards, said Stubbies. 36 TDs, total passing, rushing, combined 450. An unbelievable year. So if you're not hating, why can't it be possible? It is possible. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Baltimore just has got a better coach. And he works on Lamar's strengths. Flex is this, 49-21 in total yards, meaning rushing and passing. Wow. What a weapon. What a weapon. Too bad he wasn't that at Alabama, but, I mean, yeah, what a weapon. Man, that's a weapon. Hey. Hey. Mayo. Dude, yeah. Shit, Xander's already writing a check for him for $40 million per. You kidding me? Jalen's already. Xander said, see, Xander don't really give a shit. He just knows that Jalen gives him good clicks. He don't care. Hey, he wants him to win, though, too, you know. He wants him to win because winning is a good thing. You don't want, hey, by the way, hey, how about this, man? What's this? Know this, man. Nobody on this channel wants that guy to fail. Nobody. Why would I want that guy to fail? So what, nobody watches the shows anymore because you're too turned off because of the thing failing? That's, swear to God on my kid. That is not the truth. Nobody in their right mind, from Big Joe to Xander to every show, nobody wants that. Because if this kid does that, I win anyway. Dude, you don't want him to fail. Why would you want him to fail? No way. 5,000 yards, man. This place will go. Are you kidding me, Clayton? If Jalen Hurts throws for 5,000 yards, shit. He'll get a Deshaun Watson contract. Hey, done. How about Deshaun Watson again? One thing about it, this guy had all them cases pending against him. He still got almost $300 million in guaranteed money. That's a starting quarterback, my friends. Hey, do you know how great you have to be to get that money with all that shit around your neck? How great do you have to be? So you're not putting it in proper perspective. When people have things and issues around their lives, I don't know. I'm not going to really invest a lot. That wasn't the Browns. They said, okay, this guy's 25 years old. He's a franchise arm. That's a quarterback. That you're still figuring out whether or not your boy's going to be in the starting lineup in 2023 in Philly. That guy right now is collecting his money. And by the way, every Tuesday, they don't direct deposit his money. They bring the Brinks truck by. Hey, Deshaun, where do I put it? I just put it in the garage with the rest of the bag of money. Yeah. But Deshaun never had an MVP. Nah, but I'll tell you what, you can have the MVP award. I'll take the $260 million guaranteed. How you doing? Hey, you got the MVP? I got the money belt? Nah, I'll take the money belt. I used to tell people that all the time about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather made $35 million a fight, right? And everyone else is like, yeah, but this guy could beat him. I'm like, yeah, well, that guy's got the money belt. Whoever owns the money belt, that's who sales follows. Joseph says, Pro Football Focus has me with 1,000 yards, 1 TD, 200. And you forgot the bag of money, Joseph. Always end when you're talking about Deshaun with a bag of money. It all ends with the bag of money. Okay? Look at no interest in Jimmy G. None? Guys, none? Huh. Wouldn't you want to have Jimmy G on your team? Just, he's not that expensive because your quarterback is making less money than the Ole Miss quarterback. Hey, Jalen Hurts makes less money than the Mississippi State starting quarterback. Do you know that? I don't even know who he is. I'm just guessing because it's the SEC. And all those quarterbacks make at least $3 million a year in the SEC. Your guy makes $1.1 million. I'm assuming Mississippi State and Ole Miss, man. I bet you those quarterbacks make a ton of money. What has Jimmy D stats last year? NFC title game for the third year. That's what his stats were. That's what it's and on the road wins in Dallas and in Green Bay. Those are his stats. Yeah. I love it. Hey, this is about winning with Jalen. It's not always about number sales. Okay, well, you have to apply that to Jimmy G too then, dude. Who do you – oh, my God. Hey, Jesse, that's a great question. All seriousness, who do you think Nick Sirianni would start? Jimmy Garoppolo or Jalen Hurts? Woo! Who do you think he'd start? Who do you think he'd start? Who do you think he'd start? Oh, man, that's crazy. All right. Hey, I tell you what, man, I want to get our friend's response here on Deshaun Watson, but I first want to start it out in Philadelphia. He's a former National Football League's most valuable player. He is our friend. He is Joe Theismann. Joe, how you doing, brother?
Hi, Dan. How are you?
All good. Hey, before we get to Deshaun Watson, Joe, give me your thoughts on Jalen Hurts and this Philadelphia Eagles team in 2022. What are your expectations with this team?
Well, because they're in the NFC East, I hope their expectations aren't real good. Okay.
Okay.
That's the homer in me being a Washington guy. I really think that between Philadelphia and Miami, I believe that those two football teams really did a great job of putting people around the quarterback position. And Dan, how many times have you heard me say the quarterback position is the single most dependent position on the field? Certainly, I would expect Jalen to play really solid football this year. He has the athleticism to be able to make plays with his legs. I mean, he's quite an exceptional individual when it comes to being able to do stuff like that. So from my perspective, I think the Eagles are one of those teams that can really certainly contend in the division. And depending on how healthy people are, they can be a handful for everybody.
Joe, do you think do you think he has the ability to be a franchise guy? And I mean, is he the answer at that position, or are we in that mode of still incomplete yet on figuring who he is and what he's able to do for a roster?
I think he's at a stage trying to figure out exactly how his growth will be in this game. I mean, every game you grow, every year you grow, every off season, every practice, you have an opportunity to be able to learn more. The great thing about the position that we play, Dan, is it's a continuing learning process on a daily basis. You go out and practice, you go through practice, and you make a throw or you make a decision, and you reflect back on it and say, okay, let's put this one in the bank that I don't want to do, or I want to release the ball a little bit quicker. Or if we get this kind of a look as you sit and study film, you sit there with your receivers and say, listen, I know what the route is, but if you get this look, just plant your foot in the ground and take it up, and we'll make something happen. So those are all part of the process. He's a smart young guy. He's been in some different systems and adjusted very well to all of them. I would expect him to have a really, really solid year this year. I think a lot of the process of learning, the foundational learning is behind him. And now he's in a place where he's had the same system for a couple of years. And that's what I would expect it to be a good year for him.
Joe, for the position of quarterback, when you add a talent like an A.J. Brown and you're going through the maturation process of learning how to progression read, and I tell people this all the time, in college, see, I don't think the average fan understands this, Joe. I mean, in college, the coach tells you where to throw the ball. When you're in the NFL, you've got to have a predetermined snap idea where it's going. And once you get to the line of scrimmage, you still may not even know where it's going until the last 5 seconds before the play clock goes off. So you're going through all that, but then you add a player like A.J. Brown, who's an elite player at that position. What does that do for a quarterback and having a guy like that in your huddle?
I think it gives you great confidence. And that confidence will only grow as the games go on and as the season goes on. Right now, you develop a chemistry through training camp, the OTAs, the mini camps, and all that kind of stuff. But once the season starts, you find out exactly if he's scrambling around, does he find AJ? Yeah, I mean, what's the receiver's ability to be able to get into the vision of the quarterback so that you can get the ball out of your hands and he can make plays for you. I think it's, when you really break games down, I mean, if one receiver is targeted 10 times in a game, that's a lot. I mean, really, when you think it, you're running 65, 67 plays and 10 of them are targeted for a particular receiver. You still have 4 other receivers that you want to get the ball to. You're probably going to run the football anywhere between 25 and 30 times if you're a good offense and you want to protect your quarterback. So if you say you're targeting him 10 times and you're throwing the ball, let's say 35, that's about a third of the throws going to one individual. Defenses aren't going to allow you to do that. They're going to dictate for you to go to someplace else. And you brought up a great point, by the way, is in college, it's 1, maybe 2, or look at this side and throw the football. Some of them spread it out with guys moving around a little bit more because that's really where the game has gone. But at the professional level, you're always dealing with looks and then another look, and then another look sometimes. So you get an idea. You can anticipate a little bit what you're going to get, whether it's man or zone. You can anticipate the roll to one side or the other, but you still have to be able to work through the holes, the linebackers, the safeties, and the corners.
Joe, take me through your process. Was it a quick learn for you once you started learning? And again, I mean, you got Joe Gibbs too, who's there with you and teaching you again to play I say Joe Gibbs is one of the greatest, if not the top 3 greatest coaches in the history of the league because he took 3 different dudes at that position to the Super Bowl finish line. I mean, All those guys learned how to play the position and understand the position. I think he's a Coryell guy, if I'm not mistaken. I think he learned a little bit under Don there. So did it come quick for you being able to learn how to read and progression read?
Well, it's interesting. I played for George Allen. First coach I had was Teddy Marchibroda under George Allen in the early 70s. He gave me a reel, and at that time they only played 11 basic defenses. So before I ever looked at our play sheets, before I ever looked at our formations, before I ever looked at our plays, he told me to study defenses. He said, you study these. Once you understand what people are trying to do to you, then you're going to have a chance to be able to do what we want to do against them. But the guy that really taught me how to play the position was Joe Walton. Joe has a stadium named after him, and rightfully
former Jets
so.
Coach.
Yeah, he was a former Jets coach, Pittsburgh Steelers coach. But Joe Walton taught me the basics of fundamentally how to play the position of quarterback, what I want to read, taught me how steps coincide with depths of routes. Back then we read linebacker drops. We read safeties, positioning of safeties. And then when Coach Gibbs came, it was initially a system that he had run with Don Coryell, but that wasn't very successful for us. I mean, the first 5 games of the season, we were 0-5. I was going to get benched, and because they were going to fire him, they just hired him. So I was, my job was on the line. And Joe changed our offense where we ran the ball a little bit more. We took advantage of the size of the guys up front. My job was to keep the chains moving. And then when we got in the red zone, to be able to make the plays that we needed to. To this day, he's one of the greatest minds when it comes to getting the ball in the end zone from the red zone, which is the +20 and in. So I concur with you about him being a top 3 coach in the history of this game. Obviously, not only did he take 3 different quarterbacks, and each system evolved. Because with me, we had 3 wide receivers. By the time he got to Rip, Doug was the one in San Diego and Rip was the one in Minnesota. By the time he got to Rip, they were running 4 wides.
Yeah.
So the offense just continued to evolve. And this was Joe. It continued to grow and evolve. And I think one of the things that was interesting about, I know the guys that I played with, is Coach used to just give us as much as he could to see if we could handle it. And we never got to a point where he backed off and said, oh, this is too much for him. He just kept throwing stuff at us, and we kept processing it, and we just grew, and he made it fun. We'd come out for practice on Wednesday, and Joe would have come up with, this formation where John Riggins is on the wing, Art Monk is in the backfield. The tight ends are outside, the wide receivers are inside. And then we'd shift, or we'd stay in that formation. We'd have a running play, we'd have a play action pass, and we'd have a drop back pass. So by the time Sunday rolled around, Dan, I'm like a little kid in a candy store. When's he going to call this? What are we going to do? And every time he did that, he made practice exciting and fun. He made it interesting, taught us to learn, but he also got us in positions where there were positive plays. They just weren't quote unquote gimmick plays. They were plays that he designed to get us a first down, to get us 5 or 6 yards, maybe a shot at a big play. And that's the genius of Joe, I call it. But he really created the system. But fundamentally, I was taught by Joe Walton. I got to tell you a funny story. So I'm sitting down with Coach Gibbs in my first meetings with him. And Joe had taught me to read linebackers and safeties, Joe Walton. So I'm sitting there with Coach Gibbs. And, of course, we got the Coryell system. And, Dan's been throwing it all over the place. He's got Kellen and JJ and all these guys. So I'm sitting there, and I said, hey, Coach, who do you want me to read on this particular play, the safety or the linebacker? And he says, throw it to the open receiver. I said, I really want to do that. But, is there anybody in particular you'd like me to read, the safety or the linebacker? At that time, we had projector. So he turned the projector off and he goes, Joe, look, it's a simple game. Just throw it to the wide receiver. Okay? It's that simple. And so that's basically, that's what it was. But he was creative as far as patterns and routes and everything goes, and he just wanted you to throw it to the open receiver.
Simple things sometimes are the most hardest things to accomplish at times, I guess. I love that advice. Let me keep you in Washington then. Carson Wentz, have you been impressed with him? Do you think he has a bounce back, and do you think he's your guy moving forward, or yet again another incomplete still?
I think time will only tell. I think Carson has everything that he needs to do to be successful here. I believe the football team around him is pretty darn good too. One of the areas that hasn't been talked about a lot in Washington over the last couple of years is the offensive line. Some of the guys are banged up a little bit, but there's tremendous versatility up front. The centers can play. The center can be a guard. The guard can be a center. The tackle play inside. They've got a lot of guys that can move around, and they've had to in the past. Carson can definitely be there. You look at his statistics from last year: 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. There isn't a guy in this league that wouldn't take a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Right. So he was fundamentally able to do that. I think for him, what's important is trying not to do too much. When he came back from his injury in Philadelphia, I think he felt like he was going to be the same player he was, but I believe that knee limited him, and he had to adjust. And then in Indianapolis, some decisions with the ball in your hands. He made a couple of ones that didn't turn out very well. He also was, there were some games that it wasn't all on him. If you look at the Indianapolis Colts last year, people are saying, oh, it was Carson this, it was Carson that. Hey, there were games where that defense gave up over 400 yards of offense.
Hey, Joe, last year the guy had 3,700 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 picks. And I tell everybody, all that equity that he built up with his team and with his coach, 8 minutes versus the Titans and that Jaguar game, it just erased it all. And it's unfortunate because that's how I saw his season. They played great against the Buccaneers. They played great against the Bills. He had a really good season, but that decision-making, that hero ball stuff, I tell people this, Joe, the greatest thing that a quarterback can do sometimes is throw it in the stands.
Yeah.
Play another day.
Believe me, that's why there's other guys out there, Dan. That's why you have a defense. That's why you have a punter. That's why you have running backs. And like I said, I think in Carson's case, physically he's got the strongest arm on the team. I believe that's a lot of the reason why they brought him in, because they want to stretch the field a little bit more. They want to be able to get the ball down the field. I'll tell you, Taylor's looked real good in camp as well. But, of course, he's been in the system again. Taylor Heineke could start somewhere in the National Football League.
Huh.
I promise you that. Now he's in a situation where he'll be in the last year of a contract. Carson, we hope, will come in and play really solid football. And today, I was out of practice today, for example, and what they're doing is they're still rotating the quarterback position with Sam as well as Taylor and Carson. I feel like start next week, Carson's going to get a lot more reps and he'll be able to get into a groove a little bit more. It's hard to go 3 or 4 plays and go out. And then the other 2 quarterbacks. So you go 3 or 4 plays and then you sit for 6 or 8. And then you go back in, and it's not the way a game is played. And I'm once he finds that stroke, that comfort level, I think he'll feel a lot better, and things will look for him a lot more clear. But you're right. The big thing is don't be afraid to take a sack. Don't try and make the big play. Maybe you get away with it once, but more than likely it's going to come back and bite you.
I have to ask you now about the Deshaun Watson situation, and I got to tell you, Joe, it just shows you one thing. Look at the need at that position, that you would have all that hanging around a player's neck, and you would still guarantee $260 million, knowing the blowback you're going to get from all of this. I got to tell you, Joe, for me, as I start the question out to you here, I think the Browns won, and I think Watson won, because this thing could have been even more so where he doesn't play. And again, I'm not talking about morality here. I'm talking about business for the Browns. They're going to outrun this thing here. Couple wins here and there, and guess what? You're going to be moving on your way. I just am shocked that they put that kind of investment into a player with that kind of issues.
I think you go back. A lot of times you're compensated on what you did, not potentially what you might be able to do. The last time Deshaun Watson played football, he was very impressive. The Browns are in a very desperate situation. I believe they feel like they have the pieces around the position of quarterback to be extremely competitive all the way across the board. And they've got a solid running game, good offensive line. Defense doesn't get the credit that it gets. So if you look at the elements around that position, I believe that's why they made the investment. It's interesting that it's an 11-game suspension. If it was 12 games, he would have lost this year. It changes the compensation a little bit for what he wound up he'll wind up being able to do. And also, interestingly enough, the 12th game of the season is the Browns at Houston.
I know.
So, I mean, the National Football League examines every case differently, every individual differently when it comes to the disciplines, and they make the decisions. That's really where I leave it. There's really nothing else that I could add because you know what you read, you know what you hear, but it's a decision that the National Football League made. The Players Association, I'm sure, accepted it, and the deal is done. So in week 12, Deshaun Watson will be the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. And
Joe, you know why I love talking to you? Because you and Sims are such you guys are quintessential leaders of your football team. Because I asked him a question about Lawrence Taylor a couple of years ago, and one of the things that I loved about Phil was this. I asked him, I go, I'll never forget, the media came in and they asked you right away, and you go, right when LT got suspended for drugs, hey, we'll welcome him back when he comes back, and we'll have him as a member of our football team. Well, are you disappointed? Hey, I just told you something here. We're going to welcome him back as a member of our football team, and that's all I got to say. And, for a meathead like me that's a defensive lineman, I don't want to answer those questions, but a guy like you that's like the face of a franchise, a quarterback, that's what's got to be said in places of leadership like that. And so I respect what you're saying there, because that question is going to be asked to the other 52 guys in the locker room.
Sure. I mean, that's I think that's got to be one of the toughest jobs for Kevin, is as a head coach, you have to prepare your football team for the questions that will be asked about one of the members of the football team. And you have to basically, I mean, in the old days, everything stayed in the family. Everything stayed in the locker room. There was conversations. There were things, guys felt one way, guys might have felt another. But I think from the Browns standpoint, they'll want to be able to have a unified answer. And I think they'll probably say, look, Deshaun's not on this football team right now. We're going to go out and do a weekend with JAKIB. We're going to support him. We're going to do what we can to win football games. And I'm pretty well confident that that's what you're going to hear from every one of the Cleveland Browns.
Finally here, Cowboys, Giants, Eagles. What was Joe Theismann's rivalry? I get Cowboys. I get it. But, man, that NFC East back when you played, they were all – there was no layup weekend. I mean, and by the way, if I'm not mistaken, weren't the Cardinals in the NFC East back in the day? Were they still in the NFC East, Joe? Were the Cardinals in there?
No, we played them, but
I thought the Eagles.
Sure.
I thought the Cardinals were in the East for a bit.
If there were 5 teams, possibly. Yeah, there's very well could, because we've seen so much change. I came in the league, Dan, when there were 14 games and 6 preseason games. Like, I went to train. I was laughing with the guys yesterday and today. They have 17 days of training camp, of which I believe they can hit 3. I had 6 weeks of preseason games, of which we hit every week, twice a week at least.
Don't forget those 3 days, Joe.
Oh yeah, 3 days under George Allen. It started at 8 o'clock in the morning and finished at 6 o'clock at night. And it was one of the most refreshing things that happened to me during training camp was our locker room was cool. So when you took your wet pads off after the second practice and put them on getting ready for the third one, at least you had cool pads to put on. Dad, you look for those little pleasures in life. Yeah. And that was a little pleasure. But it's very different when it comes to the amount of time that guys get. I made this point the other day to somebody. If you're a wide receiver or you're a running back, like Antonio Gibson put the ball on the ground. He fumbled 6 times last year. Now he's sort of on call a little bit. And, Ron is splitting time now with the young kid at Alabama. And you don't get a lot of chances. You get 3 preseason games of which you're going to play in. And if you're a starter, you're not going to play much at all. If you're a wide receiver trying to make this a football team anywhere, you can't afford a drop. If you're an offensive lineman, you can't afford a missed block. The pressure is so much greater on the guys trying to make teams today than it was in the past, because you had a bigger body of work to choose from. Now the body of work is so small that one particular instant, one particular mistake, it may be the one that gets you out the door, or it could be the one that keeps you there too.
I mean, when you were there, I think you guys only had 40, maybe 47 guys, I think it was. Now you've got 16 practice guys and 53 on a team. I mean, Joe, you almost got, you'd have played 100 years if you played today. I mean,
well, I don't know if I would have in this division. I mean, as you know, as tough as the Giant defense was, Bill Bergey and that Eagle defense, the same way with Herm Edwards there. And of course, the Cowboys, I mean, you know, Randy White, Ed Too Tall Jones, Harvey Martin, John Dutton, Cliff Harris, Everson Walls. You know, some days I can close my eyes and I hear the name Cowboys and I see all those faces again, Dan. It's like, it's like a bad dream.
Scary, man. So you see Big Hands Johnson, Bergey, and then you see LT, and then you see Randy White and Harvey Martin and them dudes, man. And back then, Joe, they weren't very kind to you dudes.
Well, they weren't kind. Plus, the officiating was a little bit different. It was like, you better darn well protect yourself because that's the way the game was. And I played at a time when the game was different, but I love the game of football today. And I think the officials have a really challenging job. And, you know, technology is doing the best it possibly can. At times you look at replay, everybody thinks, oh, it's got to be this way. And it goes the other way. And you go, and why do we have replay? But, and good for the young guys, good for the amounts of money they're making. I'm thrilled for, you know, a guy like Tariq or a guy like Russell Wilson, you know, guys that are doing Patrick Mahomes. One quick funny story. I think it's funny anyway. When Patrick Mahomes got his $400 million, he bought a piece of the Kansas City Royals.
Huh.
In 1984, I was the fourth highest paid player in the National Football League at $1 million a year. I sponsored a little league football team. So we both managed to sponsor athletic organizations.
You know, and I'll tell you this. So I get like a $500,000 signing bonus from the Buccaneers. And
jeez.
Wait, check it out. I get a okay. So my legendary Hall of Fame uncle, Andy Robustelli, 14 years, you know, I mean, with those great Giant defenses back in the day, I didn't make $500,000 my entire career. And I go, yeah, well, you guys rolled your helmets up and put them in your back pocket. I mean, he's like, son, you ain't playing in that era. I love it, Joe. Awesome stuff as always, man. Thank you so much for coming aboard. God bless, my friend.
Always great to join you, Dan. Take care. Bye-bye.
You got it. That is the great Joe Theismann, former NFL most valuable player. Yeah, man. God, that division back in the day when Theismann was playing in the NFC East, man, I mean, God, the defenses with the Eagles and the Cowboys and the Giants, I mean, there's no layup weekend. And then think about the NFC also on the other side and the other coast. You've got the 49ers out there out west and the Rams. You talk about, well, then again, there was no free agency. Okay? You had no free agency. And I could have, hey, guys, am I right when I say that? I could have swore that the St. Louis Cardinals were in the NFC East. And even when they moved to Arizona, I thought they were in the NFC East for a while. I thought it was Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Redskins, and I could have swore the Cardinals were in that division. I know it sounds wild, but you got the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC East, and then they had realignment. I forget when realignment came up. Am I saying that right, guys? Buddy Ryan, great defensive mind. Yeah, and now you've got Jonathan Gannon. Mike says, yeah, they were. Okay, good. It was the Cardinals were in the NFC East. Can you imagine? Hey, Neil Lomax. Hey, get this, guys. I'm going to show you a little bit how old I am. I played against the Cardinals at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It was the final year, 1987, my rookie year. And I played against the Cardinals, and we were up 28. Hey, we were up 28-0. We lost. We lost like 31-30 or some shit like that. They came roaring back, and they ended up beating us, man. But I remember the St. Louis Cardinal players. I think Lou Brock was on that team. I think Gary Templeton maybe. And I think Keith Hernandez may have even been on that 87 team. No, he was already with the Mets. But that team was really good, right? And so they showed up to the football stadium, or it was a baseball stadium because the Cardinals played there. And the Cardinals played there for a long time. They played at that stadium, Busch Stadium. So, hey, played at Busch, the Vet. All these places are gone now, right? Hey, Xandria, I'm going to take it to the top. I know. I'll make it up in the next hour. Is that cool? I'll make it up in the next hour. Do you want to take one now, and then we'll come back for 5 minutes here? Do you want to do that? Okay, yeah, let's just take it to the top. I'll make it up. We didn't even take a break there, man. You are correct, Sills. Hey, can somebody give me an update? Can somebody give me an update? Is Jalen, is he still on fire? Is he still on fire? Look, Pauly Shore's numbers. He's got to have, oh my God. It's got to be 31 of 38 for 657 yards in the controlled scrimmage. Come on, man. Somebody hook me up. Dude, Chris Carter was amazing. Hey, 85, you want me to tell you the real story on how Chris Carter how he got fired in Philly? Oh, Josh Tolentino. Yeah, well, we 86 this guy off our team. I even stopped following him. But he works for, like, the local newspaper in town. Okay? So this is what the youngster wrote on his Twitter page. This is what Junior wrote. Joint practices getting juicy. Browns' Richard LeConte extended his trash talking towards Eagles' Devontae Smith. Smith says last time he saw LeConte, he put him on the bench in reference to Alabama, Georgia days. Yeah! They got it fired up there in Berea, Ohio, man. Yes, sir. Man, look at that, man. Eagles go out, man. They got an attitude. Even Devontae. Put up what Junior wrote again. Let me see that. Let me put that up there again. Here's what Junior Tolentino wrote from the National Enquirer. Oh, wait. The Philadelphia Inquirer. Joint practice is getting juicy. Look at that, Browns, Richard LeConte extending his trash talking towards Eagles Devontae Smith. Oh, man. You know, you're right, Xander. I should be a good dude to the guy. He's got an O on it. You know what I mean? He's got an O in his name. I should be cooler to him, so I'm going to be kinder to him. Yeah, no, I'm going to be cool to him. He's got a vowel in his name. It's okay. Yeah, that's right, man. You're right. Hey, Xander's like telling me to be nicer here. Okay. Yeah. Josh Tolentino. Hurts is white fire right now. What's that mean? White fire? Here's the Chris Carter story. This dude is doing a ton of blow. I mean, out of control. Out of control. And Chris has talked about it. So I would never say something like this unless Chris said it. So Chris has talked about it. And Buddy Ryan knew it. Buddy goes to the kid and goes like this. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go home. I'm cutting you. Dude, this guy's a good ball player. You know the story with Chris Carter and me and Brian Bosworth? We were both in the same supplemental draft. Brian Bosworth was the first player taken. I was the 56th player taken. And the Eagles took Chris Carter in that same supplemental draft. There were the three of us. We're in that supplemental draft. And Chris Carter was in it. And he was the latter guy drafted. Three of us. And he went to Ohio State. And Buddy goes like, by the way, he was at Jerome's funeral crying his ass off. Standing against the wall, man. He loved Jerome Brown. So Chris gets Buddy calls him in. He goes, I made a call to, I think Dennis Green was the coach of the Vikings back then. He goes, I made a call to him. You get your life straightened up, be all good. Goes up there and becomes a freak show and goes into the Hall of Fame. Buddy Ryan was looking out for the kid because he needed the kid to get back and being a man. Buddy cut him not because he wanted him off his team. He cut him because he wanted him to get his shit together. That's a coach. That's a guy who gives a shit about you. Hey, it's more about football here. It's not about football, man. Go get your life together. That's a true story. Jerome told me this, and so did Chris. He cut him. You're out. I can't have this around my guys. I can't have this around my guys at all, man. You're out. I'll talk to Dennis Green. Dennis will be calling you. Sure enough, man. He goes up there and puts a sensational show up there for a decade. Oh, hey, Jeremiah, Chris Carter would have been the greatest receiver in the history of the franchise. Not a question mark. Okay? Not a question mark. He'd have been the greatest receiver in the history of the franchise. All right. Hour number 2. Want to hit on a little bit more about the Eagle defense? Man, we got Jimmy G. Nick Sirianni makes a statement. Oh, yeah, I got to hit on this here. And I really do have a question mark here about this here, too. I really do. I got a question mark here. Okay? Oh, my God, practice stats are in. Holy cow. Please, Andrew, get them lined up. Practice stats are in. Hour 2, we're going to lead with it. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When you're hit from behind in a car crash, the insurance company may try to say, you can't possibly be hurt. It was only a few miles an hour. It's simply not true. You see, here's the thing. Getting hit at 10 miles per hour is like falling off of this. 15 miles per hour, like this. And only 25 miles per hour, this. Injured, dial pound law. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
The glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, this, and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Yeah, okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Hour 2, National Football Show. This is where you get all your practice stat numbers. This is where you get the latest. This is where you get the running total on Jalen Hurts. This is where media guys give out their grades for practice, as Allen Iverson would say. Hit the like button, yeah. So let's take a look at what happened in Berea, Ohio, with Elliott Spitzer Shore Parks. Jalen Hurts training camp. Day 13. 1 versus the Browns. 16 of 21. No TDs, no picks. That's actually what hey, all kidding aside, that's kind of what I would love to see during the regular season, right around that number, 16 to 21. Okay? Like that. And you're running the ball? Okay. You know, I look at that. Okay. That's kind of who they are. So I really can't be facetious on this. Really good day for him. The passing offense looked best it has all camp. Wait, I got to get the grade down here, though. I'd give him an A-. I guess the A- is because he didn't have any TDs. Oh, that is just because no TDs. But it's definitely a step in the right direction. Signed Bill Walsh. Elliott Spitzer Shore Parks. Oh, my God. Hey, Michaels. Here's Michael Sills. Hurts just broke all practice records of all time. Unbelievable. By the way, Sills, the Vikings played the Eagles in Philly the very next year, and on an incomplete pass to the Eagles sideline, Buddy went over and met Chris after the play, hugged and shook him. Hey, Andrew, by the way, he loved Chris Carter. He loved Chris Carter. He didn't want to cut him, but he was doing it for his own health. Chris was a mess. Everyone in the league knew it because all of a sudden you saw Chris Carter was cut by the Eagles. Everyone freaked out. Everyone went, okay, what happened? Something happened. And Jerome told me, he goes, man, too many 8 balls. I'm like, what? I didn't know. He goes, yeah, too many 8 balls, man. This guy's showing up stoned. This guy's showing up high as a kite on coke. Yeah. I was like, and Buddy said, that's it. You're out. Hurts signs for $50 million, 75% completion percentage. Holy shit, are we looking at the next Patrick Mahomes here? What is wrong with being balanced? No, Brian, that's what they have to be. I'm not goofing on it, honestly. They weren't last year at all. Hurts the ultimate underdog. Yes, he is. Well, when you lose your gig and you have to go to another place, okay? Yeah, you are an underdog. And he was never drafted in Philadelphia to take Carson Wentz's job, ever. He was a seat belt or a safety belt, whatever you want to call it, in case there was a big crash with Wentz, which there was. He was never signed to take his gig. Remember something. When they initially signed and drafted Jalen Hurts, they weren't doing that because they wanted to get rid of Wentz. They just gave him a brand new contract. That escalator hadn't even kicked in yet. Jeff Bone, how you doing, bro? Hurts wouldn't get a contract from me till midway next year. I need to see him be more consistent. So you don't want to why not give him a contract now? By the way, why not give him the contract? Shit, Xander wants to give him $40 million per. $40 million, baby. Give him to him now. Why not? It's going to be a controversy. It's going to be. He might be good enough. I have to see it. Brian, I think he's going to be good enough. I do. I think, and again, this is one of the question marks that I asked. Hey, this is one of the questions that I asked out of the gate. How much do you think he's improved from last year? 10%, 20%, 30%? I think 10% is enough. That's why I think they're going to go to the NFC title game. I think he's improved enough. I think in 8 months, if you got a 10% improvement in game situations and not controlled scrimmages or the Jets, I think you got a lot. 10% increase, you're talking about 3,700 yards, 3,500 yards, somewhere in there. Touchdowns around 23, right? 22. Right? Somewhere around. Dude, if you get 10% increases in his ability for the next 2-3 years, and he's 30% better in 3 years from now than what he is now, he will be a $40 million a year guy. Have some patience here. Have some patience. They've got time. They don't have to jump the barrel on this. Sit back and relax. Let's see this thing play out. I want to see, look, I think the increase is going to be between 5 and 10%. I don't think this guy's some 20, 30% improvement like many of you think. I do not. That's unbelievably rare to see something like that, where you see a guy who was kind of okay a year ago. Let's be candid. Jalen Hurts was kind of average a year ago. He was average. I don't know. He was average. I wouldn't know, maybe not even average. Okay? Xander goes, this guy, man, this guy's got growth like JAKIB, baby. 100%. Full pedal down, man. That's what we are here. So I wonder what Xander thinks of him as. Is he an Alabama Crimson Tide guy, or is he a Sooner? I think he's a Sooner. Be honest, what's the ceiling? Player comparison, Brandon asked me. Big Sills, he will get $40 million if we win the Super Bowl. Probably. Yeah. You win the Super Bowl with that dude? You'd be like Joe Flacco, excuse me, Joe Flacco. Congratulations to you, Joe, by the way, on making it to the Hall of Fame, or at least to the semifinalist list. Yeah, he will. He'll get that bag of money, man. He will. Guess we're drafting a safety. All right, let me get over to Sirianni. You see, I want to read you something before I read Sirianni's comments today, or yesterday it was. This is Kyle Shanahan. This is Kyle Shanahan's assessment so far of Trey Lance in camp. Do we not agree these guys are probably on the same career paths, at least as of right now, August 18th? Would we not agree? Both these guys, right? Fair? Trey Lance got a lot of pressure on him. By the way, here's the difference, though. Trey Lance just can't get to a Super Bowl. You got to win it. Jimmy G already did that. Jimmy G's been to 2 of the last 3 NFC Championship games. He just can't make the playoffs. Or Trey Lance, that's not going to be good enough. Plus, you moved up and moved 3 number 1s to the Dolphins to get in the 2-hole to get the guy. That guy just can't be a playoff guy like Jalen can be. This guy's got to get to the Super Bowl and win it. Garoppolo already did it. He didn't win it. He got it there. I'm being told he's the guy now. Okay? Here's what Kyle Shanahan says about Trey Lance. He's much better in a lot of areas than he was a year ago, and he's improved in all of these areas, and it's great to see. It's like a lawyer's answer. Well, how much better? How much? Jordan Love's better. How much better? You know what's funny? Sirianni and Kyle Shanahan won't tell you how much of an improvement he has from a year ago to where he is now. Because you know why? They can't tell you that. Nobody with any kind of football brain cells could tell you that Jalen's better than a year ago, or Trey Lance is better than a year ago, or for that matter, Justin Fields. You have no idea until they get out there and play in September. Watch this. Well, he's doing great with everything in practice and fundamentals. That's what practice is for. Practice is for practicing fundamentals. You're practicing your techniques, hoping they'll stick. Hoping they stick. But what usually happens to players once they get in a position where they've got to succeed? They resort back to their strengths. You see, this is where, in all seriousness now, this is where Jalen has to get better. And I'll tell you the number one thing that it looks like he has gotten better at. The first sign of a play breaking down, he can't take off. I don't want to hear Sirianni saying, well, he's not open. That's on the quarterback to get him open. Get that guy open. You know, just like you guys told me about Carson Wentz, rely on the other 10 guys in the huddle, you know? There's 10 other dudes in the huddle. It's not just you. There's no hero ball here. Get them open. That's on the quarterback. His first sign when plays break down, the Eagles, and Shane Steichen even said this the other day, politically he said it. He's got to have better, and I'm paraphrasing it, and I'm using, these are my words, not his. He's got to have better pocket presence if he wants to improve like you guys want him to improve. That's why I say I want to see all this improvement when plays break down. There's no plays breaking down with Paulie Shore giving me those stats in controlled scrimmages or against the Jets. There's no plays breaking down. He's not put in an adversarial position where he's got to dig his team out of a hole. He has had none of that in training camp. Everything has been positive. Reinforcement, putting him in positions in scrimmages, all the reporting. Quarterbacking in the National Football League is not about perfect scenarios and perfect environments. It's about when you're down 14 with one timeout left and you got to win a freaking game in Dallas to win the NFC East. That's when it matters. Not when, hey, he's 6 for 6, or what is it, 16 to 21 or whatever, 16 to 21, and I give him an A. I want to see a guy who was struggling like Matthew Stafford in the Super Bowl. He loses Odell Beckham. You could see they were rattled. Stafford rallies the troops. And they win the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter against the Bengals. That's quarterbacking. When you're down and getting your ass handed to you, like Brady was against the Rams. They tie it up. They ended up getting beat because of Todd Bowles' defense, in my opinion. But Brady rallied them. That's quarterbacking to me. Is rallying your team when shit's not going well. All kidding aside here. Wouldn't you rather put your quarterback in a position of failure first to see how he reacts to it than putting him in a fight you know he can win? That's not development. You know, the great coaches put players in adversary. Belichick made a career out of putting everybody in bad positions where they had to make decisions and situational play calling to try to get his team out of an area. How many times do game plans or fight plans or army plans, when you're talking about going to war, how many times do they go to shit right there in the first 3 minutes? Like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. What are you doing when you get punched in the mouth? By the way, I'm not saying to you that Jalen doesn't have the character to get out of that. But teach him that. But he's 6 for 6 and he's 80 yards against the Jets. Gardner Minshew killed that team in a game that was real. Yeah, but you see the way Jalen played? He didn't play any better than Gardner Minshew did against the Jets last year. As a matter of fact, Gardner Minshew played better. You want to, hey, if you're really keeping score, if you want to do a beauty pageant, Minshew was better versus the Jets last year. He was 20 of 25, 250, 3 touchdowns. Sorry, you're going to have to do a hell of a lot more to go in 6 for 6 in a preseason game for 80 yards before you're going to go, hey, well, what about the guy with 20 of 25 against the same shit team? Come on, man. Give me a break. See, Brian, I think the coaching staff is the one that, to me, is the outlier here and the question mark. By the way, I'm not suggesting you should put your players in a complete position during the entire training camp where nothing's positive. I'm not saying that. Leave that shit to me. I get it. You want to have positive reinforcement constantly with your players. I'm totally cool with that. But coach them correctly. Coach these guys right, man. Wouldn't you rather put Jalen Hurts in a position like this? Okay, you've thrown 3 picks in a game, and you're down 14, and it's a quarter and a half left. Are you going to run the ball? What are the Eagles going to do coaching staff-wise? Are you going to throw the ball when you're down like that? Or are you going to run it? Do you really – hey, you know what seems to me a little bit too here? Doesn't it seem to you that the coaches are trying to also motivate themselves to buy into his arm? It's almost like they're conditioning themselves too. Dude, I want to know how he acts. I have not seen one thing where someone said he had a shitty – and by the way, Derek Gunn said one word and everyone blew a gasket, including some of the players. Lighten up. Because I guarantee you, 2022, there's going to be moments where you're all going to go like this. Shit. Tom Brady has shit moments. Everyone does. You can't get your panties in a bind, or you can't get upset when someone goes, that sucked, kid. That's why they don't have Doug Peterson here anymore. Because Doug thinks like I do. You don't have Doug Peterson around because Doug told you the truth. And he talked to his players like that, probably. And then again, I know how Doug talks to people. Okay? Doug has that ability to look you in the face and go, that sucks, that's not cutting it. Okay? That's not cutting it, kid. You got to be better here. Media needs to be checked once in a while. Hey, Richie, it's okay because how many times, Richie, know this. The media in Philly is being fed by the Eagles what they want you to hear. That's what they're telling you. Oh, he's crazy great. Perfecto. Unbelievable. Remember, and you know what, all kidding aside, Elliot Shore, I'm sure he's a fine reporter, okay? He works for a radio station that airs the Eagles. Today, I have no credibility for people like that. He's not going to tell you anything negative. Organization would hammer him. Then his bosses at IP would hammer him. And I get it. Trust me. But I'm telling you the truth here. That's why when you come here and you go, Dan, you're shitting. No, I'm not shitting on anybody. Watch this. In all actuality, some of the negative stuff, or if you interpret it that way that I've said about Jalen, can easily turn around and go, Dan, he's worked hard. He looks in great shape. He's doing all the right things. You may not think much of those statistics, but at least it's accuracy you're seeing. 6 of 6, 16 to 21. Aren't you happy with that? Yeah, I am. Yes, I am. All truth aside, yes, I am. That shows consistency. By the way, it's not so much. The next time you look, like when Xander posts those Elliott Shore stats, when he puts those stats up there, think about the one thing you should always be looking at with those stats. Is he consistently around 65% in practice? If he's around 65%, he'll probably be this year. Watch this. I'll make a prediction to you. I bet you if he's around 66, 65% in practice, he'll be around 63. That's an improvement off of 61 from last year. That's a 2% improvement. That's why when I ask you what you think this guy's improvement's going to be, 10%, 20%, look at what a 2 or 3% improvement will be in passing efficiency for him. You get it up to 63, 64, you're starting to climb and get better, and that's accuracy. You're starting to see a player getting more accurate. That's what you're looking at. Like I said, most quarterbacks probably hang like Mahomes in practice. They probably hang around 85%, knowing full well he'll be 68 or 67 during the season because it's real. You're getting hit. You've relied on other things. Game plan goes to shit in the second quarter. What are you doing? Let's run the ball. That's what the Eagles are going to do. When everything else fails, they'll run the ball, which is great because you know why? They're great at it. That is one of the super luxuries that this team has that very few teams in the league has. You know what that is? They're a power team. You want to get into, a sparring match with me? I'll throw some freaking haymakers at you here, and I got the ability to knock your ass out. Okay? But don't just spar with people, because when a team like the Eagles spar with people, what do you do when you think you're sparring with somebody you know you can knock out? You're keeping that idiot in the game. When I got a team like the Lions in week 1, man, I'm going to run right at your ass, and I want to see how tough you are. You and Dan Campbell up there, you guys want to call yourself a tough football team? Well, let me unleash a team that led the NFL in running. I don't want to see 35 passes in game 1. I want to see if the Lions are tough enough to handle what they couldn't last year. That was getting their ass handed to them. That guy, Dan Campbell, you know what he don't want to see the Eagles doing? He don't want to see the Eagles going up there running the ball 35 times in that game. He don't want that. But you know what the organization and everybody in Philly wants? They want the Eagles not do that and throw the ball 35 times. Why? Situational play calling. Know your opponent. Sun Tzu tells you. Know the weaknesses of your opponent. Know your own strengths and weaknesses. And if you have a superior opponent, draw back, adapt, reorganize. That's how the art of war is. That's the art of war, my friends. Okay? That's the art of war. Dan, if Hurts is somewhere between Cardell Stewart and Steve McNair, I'll take it. Yeah, man. That's some pretty good football players. Cordell's okay. McNair was a tough dude. If he can hang in that Steve McNair room and put the Steve McNair jacket on, and you got Steve McNair as your starting quarterback, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I like McNair. I'm a fan of Steve McNair. Okay? Lions game is zero cakewalk. Week 2, Vikings, easier opponent. Absolutely not. That guy up there, Justin Jefferson, will go for 183 versus that secondary in week 2. We'll hit on some of that there too. I do want to say something about an NFL player that's absolutely obnoxious. I want to also go back to something that we all said here a couple months ago about Deshaun Watson being an Eagle. I want to do that. By the way, our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. Guys, know this? If you are hurt or injured on the job, one of the most important things that you could possibly do for you and your family is finding that attorney firm that will take care of you and your needs. For the past 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has collected over $13.5 billion for their clients. That's right. For the people is not a slogan. This is who they are. Over 800 attorneys and offices in Philly, New York, and in Florida make them the biggest firm in the country, and they will not be intimidated. And there is no such thing as a fender bender when you call Morgan & Morgan. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation's free. 800-512-1600. Open 24/7, 7 days a week. And when you call them, do me a favor. Tell them Dan Sileo sent you.
In choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
The glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, 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 and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Welcome back. National Football Show. It's your boy, Big Sills. Please hit the like button. Hey, by the way, in Cleveland right now, if you're Kareem Hunt, you're feeling pretty good about yourself, right? You're feeling pretty good about yourself. Hey, Browns. I told you I demanded a trade. The Browns ain't trading that guy now, man. You know what they're going to do for the first half of the season, right? You know, they're just going to run the ball, man, like they did a year ago with Baker Mayfield. And they ain't getting rid of that. That guy's value on that team just skyrocketed. skyrocketed. Kareem Hunt is off the trading box. You had your shot at him. Now, no way. No way would they give that guy up. No way. Now, if you're Cleveland, do you throw Kareem Hunt in a deal to get Jimmy Garoppolo? Probably not. They're going to go with JAKIB Brissett probably. No. They'll probably end up doing that. Hey, by the way, I do want to say this on a really great note about this Eagle team. You know what I really enjoy so far? And just watching the sound bites and listening to a lot of the guys after practice. I watched those videos on their Twitter page. And you know what I'm getting a good sense of? There's a really great vibe about them dudes. They look like they really like each other. And that's a good thing. I'm not saying you have to love your teammates, all of them, but you kind of have to respect everyone. I think everybody in that locker room has a respect level for each other and what they're doing. And that's a tone by the coach. There's like a good dude vibe. Got each other's back, constantly looking out for one another, always trying to set the positive vibe in the building. Look, not everything, we all know this. The Eagles have had the most tranquil offseason of any team in the league where everything is, I mean, you could give them the Vince Lombardi trophy already. And we know it'll change in September. And there'll be adversity during the year. And we'll really see how they act when their backs are against the wall because we haven't seen that yet. Oh, well, wait a minute. You know, if we take a little bit of last year, their backs were against the wall when they were 2-5, right? And I think they learned a lot from that 2-5 start from last year. See, to me, that's muscle memory stuff. I think they took that to you know what's here. Here's something that I think is a massive positive that, and I think this is the number one thing that they took away from last year's team. It's not the playoff game. Because the playoff game, you were destroyed in it. Not making the playoffs. Who wants to make the playoffs and get killed? And be shown that you're not even really in a conversation with those elite teams. That was last year. To me, the big takeaway from last year was this. They showed intestinal fortitude and they showed comeback. I'm not talking about winning games like when you're down 21 points. I'm more talking about this kind of stuff. Man, you're 2-5. Nobody thinks you can dig your way out of it. It was a complete train wreck. And all of a sudden, everyone in the locker room put the big boy britches on, and they went to work, man. And they rebuilt the house, and they left that last season with a positive. You know what that was? We had adversity in our life, and they persevered through it. That's a good thing, man. That's shit that galvanizes your locker room. That stuff you can lean back. Hey, everyone was saying, is this Sirianni guy a one-and-done guy? Is he going to be like, you know, a coach that doesn't get another opportunity because his team completely shit the bed? Remember, people were talking about the T-shirts and all that stuff and the grass grown and the flowers and all that and the Kobayashi, like, videos and such. We're all doing, I don't know, bro. It doesn't look good. But the team rallied. That was a good thing, man. Do you think the Browns would like Rager? Why would they want a shitty player? Why? You guys really want to get rid of him, and Jalen Rager, GT, has no trade value. And Howie doesn't want to put him out there. Watch this. So if Howie Roseman puts Jalen Rager out there, you don't think he's been offered 6th and 7th rounders for him? The optics of that alone is obnoxious, especially with Justin Jefferson coming into town in week 2. The optics alone would make that look awful. That's why when he got rid of J-Jaw for a player, that covers that. At least you got a dude in return. He ain't putting a draft choice behind that. So let me trade Whiteside away for what, a 7th rounder? That's not the optics you're looking for in your personnel department when you got to go talk to your owner and say, we shit the bed on him. And, well, we got a 7th rounder for him. Well, what about the economic money we paid for the guy and the guaranteed money we paid for that 1st rounder? Howie. So he gets around that by trading for a player. Rager would have to be traded for a player, not a pick. His days of being traded for a draft choice are over with. He's either getting traded for a player or he's cut. There's no getting around it. He has a bag of Skittles has more value than Jalen Rager right now in the NFL. He's got 0 value. 0. Yeah, 0, right. Zach Pascal has more value. He has more value. It's funny, I love when I hear people talking about morality in sports. So are you telling me right now, after the whole thing that has played out in Cleveland, you wouldn't want Deshaun Watson as your starting quarterback in Week 12? Even with you had Michael Vick on your team, so don't give me anything about morality. I don't want to hear anything about morality. Okay? Nothing. And Vick went to prison. Vick went to prison, actually went to Leavenworth. Did 18 months of a 5-year sentence. Hey, let me underline it and come back. I'm friends with Michael Vick. I love what Michael Vick has done in his life. I love that Michael Vick is trying to be a better human being, and I believe in rehabilitation. I have no problem today with Michael Vick, except we'll never forget that's a part of his life in a chapter in his book. Okay? So don't talk to me about morality here. This guy did hard prison time for murdering those dogs. And he was welcomed in Philly. Deshaun Watson has not been found guilty at all in a courtroom. But isn't it something to hear media people talking like Deshaun Watson was found guilty in a court of law by some sort of like magistrate that was handpicked by the commissioner of the league? The commissioner of the league, who's got an owner in Washington who runs that organization and has all kinds of problems in there when it comes to work environment. He took Jerry Richardson's team away from him for an unhealthy work environment in Carolina. Don't talk to me about morality. Funny how the league throws it on the player, okay? And by the way, Deshaun Watson, the quarterback, is all I'm talking about here. I don't give a shit about his character. If he's in the league right now, look at what Cleveland thinks of what you think when it comes to character. They got over today. And I'm going to tell you something else. Can I tell you what every general manager is saying right now? That guy is playing this year? Shit. I wish I did it. If I knew that was going to be it, 12 games, $5 million, I'd have made the trade too. Because this is all going to go away when he comes back for the week of the... Oh, and by the way, is it just me? Or is it that, how does he come back for the week of the Texans? So Watson is eligible to play versus the Houston Texans. Of course he is. Hey, how is it that Baker Mayfield is playing the Browns? You know what I mean? How is that possible? Unbelievable coincidence. So he comes back the week of the Houston Texans. I mean, look, okay, how about if I did this? Boy, those two coincidences, okay, man, I tell you, I don't know. Hey, Eagles realist, crazy. I mean, Mayfield's playing against the Browns, starting. You got Deshaun Watson coming back, playing against the Texans in his first eligible game. Of course, but it's coincidence because it's the league. 85. Dan, does Hurts have a higher ceiling than Jameis Winston? As a passer, no. As a winner, maybe. I don't mean to waffle that. Okay, I don't mean to waffle that. But how about this? Jalen, the way the team is built for him and the way they've built it, like he couldn't go to the Bucs and win. Too many wideouts there. Just like this. No wideout wants to play with Lamar Jackson. Well, you think wide receivers are lining up to want to go play in Baltimore? I don't think so. I don't think you see a boatload of wideouts going, hey, I'll play in Baltimore. No way. Or I don't even think you'll see a lot of people lining up to go play in Tennessee. It's not how those teams are built. Comparing women to dogs? What? What an idiot. Women, excuse me, I'm comparing people who went to prison and people who didn't go to prison. One dude went to prison, 18 months, Leavenworth, hard time, jumpsuit, everything. The other guy, 2 grand juries, no criminal charges. End of story, guy. You can make Watson look as bad as you want, which the media is, but Vic went to prison. Jesus, criminy, guy. Hard truth. Something you don't want to take. That's why you come here. You think Watson went to Cleveland to be a winner? No. He took the bag of money. He took the bag of money. He initially told him, I have no interest in going to Cleveland. Jimmy Haslam goes, what if we guarantee it? Then they looked at the team and went, well, they got a great running attack. They got a great O-line. They've got a really good defense. You put me there, we'll win. Let's go. Give me the bag of money. It's a perfect scenario. Absolutely. The bag of money was the tipping point. In my opinion, he'd have been in Atlanta, Carolina, or Philly. Maybe not Philly, because I don't think the owner and the general manager have the onions to make a move like that. No way. They do not have the onions to do that. They would never do that. Watson is innocent. All the accusations came out of nowhere. Yeah, when he demanded a trade, Nick, all of a sudden, and Nick, you know what was crazy about that whole story? The Texans, 10 months earlier, gave him a $185 million brand new contract. They gave him a brand new $185 million contract, making him one of the highest paid players. And you're telling me they knew? That's why they settled on 30 cases themselves. They knew what was going on, but they still gave, get this, 2 teams. One team gave him 180, the other team gave him $230 million in guaranteed money. But you wouldn't want him in Philly. Dude, every team now, Carolina, Atlanta. Wait, you think Atlanta's happy with? They're looking around right now. I guarantee you Atlanta's doing this. Shit, 12 games? We got a wide receiver, Calvin Ridley, that's out 17 for gambling. This guy here is out for less time. So I get him, Calvin Ridley back, and I get Kyle Pitts and Deshaun Watson. Shit, I'm on my way. I'll take that. Deshaun Watson going back home where he's from in Atlanta. You don't think that ownership group and Arthur Blank would have went and said, come home here, even with the headache? They knew what was coming. And now that they saw only 12 games, I guarantee you 75% of the general managers around the league are going, damn. Only the soft-ass snowflake media people are going, I'd never make that move. Yeah, and that's why you're stuck with Baker Mayfield. Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. Shit, players like that. That's why you're there. That's why you're the Jets. Well, so you would have done it? You're damn right I would have. I'm not bringing Deshaun Watson in to be the father of the year or the man of the year here. You guys are under some crazy misnotion here that I'm forgiving him for his actions. Absolutely not. But if an organization like the Browns gives you $230 million in guarantees, must be okay for somebody. Why not me? He's going to ball out too, man. I guarantee you the Browns are going to be a force with him. Hey, I know you don't like his character. I know you love Jalen's more. And I know the perfect word would be, why can't Deshaun have Jalen Hurts' character and his backbone and all the good things? Well, guess what? I'm sorry, honey, but the Wizard of Oz is not real. I mean, the Wizard of Oz is not real. Well, I wouldn't want him in Philly. Well, you got Vic. Guy went to prison. And I love Vic. And I thought it was I'm the one that reported it. I was the first dude to report that you guys signed him. And you know what I said on my show when I was on in Tampa? I went like this. This is a fan. And guess who spoke for him? Tony Dungy. Guess who spoke for Vic to come to Philly? Dungy called Andy Reid because Vic needed someone to speak for him. And guess what? Tony Dungy spoke for him. Called Andy Reid up. Andy Reid said, okay. They met in Orlando. They did I was there when they did it. I was there with his personal trainer when he went through the physical. People that were there watching the physical called me, and I saw him doing it with Andy Reid. And I think Joe Banner, was that the GM at the time? Well, I want to say Joe Banner. Vic. And not only did he do that, but Vic was a great team leader in Philly. Dude, Michael Vick is doing all the right things right now. Good for him. Hope he continues it, and I believe he will. Hey, Big Sills, I'm Deshaun Watson over Hurts any day. See? You get it. But watch this, right? All around auto service and sales, watch this. Hey, man, I'm not bringing that guy over for dinner, though. But he wants to be the quarterback of my team. We go win a Super Bowl. I'm all for rehabilitation. The league thinks it's good enough. Hey, by the way, the league's having him back. If the league thought this guy was such a scumbag, wouldn't they have expelled him forever? Wouldn't they have? Right? I thought Jimmy Haslam's comment and statement was good too. And I heard people going like this. I'm not going to name anybody. And I heard somebody saying something like, well, he just doesn't get, his guilt. Well, I would settle too, even if I was innocent. Because you know why? I want it to go away. You're never going to be innocent with people in today's court of public opinion once they get a narrative about you. Once the media destroys your reputation, you can't get it back. So for him, he should stand on his principles that he believes he has. And if he believes in what he says, who are you to say it? Well, I don't believe him. Okay. But the league is letting him play. I'll tell you something. If the National Football League had come out and went like this, he can't play ever in this league. Do you really want to know how you curb behavior? You make a sacrificial lamb out of Deshaun Watson and go like this, that guy can't play in my league ever again. Ben Roethlisberger can't assault women in toilets. He can't play again. Okay? You want to be cut and dry on something? Those guys can't play. You see, the league doesn't stand for anything. That's why you fall for everything. Okay? They don't. They care about moving the cash register. Deshaun Watson moves it. And for anybody in Philly to say, hey, Sileo wanted Watson in. I still would want him in Philly. You put Deshaun Watson on that offense, I don't think the Eagles lose a game. And you know what? I would say this. The score against the Cowboys would be 38-14, shit like that. You'd wipe the mat with them. With Jalen, we'll see. Deshaun Watson's a 10. Jalen Hurts is a 5 on quarterback scales. There's 75% of the league right now would make that move if they knew what the result was going to be. As soon as I saw the 11-game suspension and the $5 million, I went, holy crap, wow, the Browns won. Unbelievable. There's teams kicking themselves in the head right now. Are you kidding me? They would have clearly eaten that bad pub. Bad pub to them, big deal. Who cares about bad pub? It goes away in a day. Here's a great example of it. You know that conversation we had a couple weeks ago about Roe versus Wade? Look at it now. It's gone. Conversation's gone. It's like in an ether somewhere. This is going to go away too. I think it's smart what the Browns did too. They're not playing him at all, they're taking him out of the spotlight. This guy will parachute back in week 11. Brilliant. Things will settle down. He's not in the mainstream media anymore. Nothing will be said. That's how you outrun a problem. Smart. Well done. We're good. We're good. We got assets to move up and go get a guy if we need be. You got it. You think there's going to be a guy available like Deshaun Watson in the upcoming draft or in free agency? Unless you're talking about Joe Burrow. Mike goes, I'd take him. Vic and Carter turned their lives around. Absolutely. I'm for, man, I think, and so did Ray Rice. I love people who do that. I love men who turn their lives around and go in a positive direction and have rehabilitation. Michael Vick, when he got to Philadelphia, was the best thing in the world, and you guys treated him. And believe me, if it wasn't for the fan base in Philly, I don't know if I'd ever say this, and I don't know if I've ever said this publicly, but he couldn't have went to a better fan base to embrace him, to show, watch this, just ball, be a good dude, and get this, we'll cheer you. And that's what you did. And it helped him in his rehabilitation. You guys look at a guy like Ben Simmons and you take a shit all over that because you know why? That guy doesn't care who he is, where he is, about a community, or about anything. Think he actually cared about wearing the Sixer colors? Absolutely not. You think he even knew who Dr. J was? Doubtful. We wouldn't have AJ or Davis if we got Watson. You can keep AJ and Davis, and I'll take Deshaun Watson. Okay? You can have them too. You can have them. There is no substitute of a franchise quarterback. None. Zero. You know what's funny? I never heard of T. Higgins and the Cincinnati Bengal offense until they got Joe Burrow and then they added Jamar Chase. I never heard of them. Cincinnati, man, that Zach Taylor guy, I had to look up his name because he's the head coach of the Bengals. I had to look his name up. You put a guy like Joe Burrow in a system like that, he takes your ass to the Super Bowl. It's culture changing. Look at what Russell Wilson did for Seattle. Seattle was marginal. They were decent of a franchise. You put a franchise guy in Seattle, they were contenders in the NFC every year. It didn't matter what pieces they lost. Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, Percy Harvin. It didn't matter. A franchise quarterback keeps you in the conversation. Do you know the only thing keeping you in a conversation to be a Final Four team right now in the NFC is your O-line? It ain't your quarterback. Love to see Davis steamroll Watson. Well, hopefully he'll be in shape to do that. Would you guarantee through 30? GT? No. I wouldn't have the onions to do that. I don't think I'd have the onions to do that. Okay? I just don't think so. And I would say this to you too, GT. I don't know if I'd have the onions to guarantee it even if he didn't have those issues. I don't want to be caught in that anchor around my neck like the NBA is with those players. Look at the Russell Westbrook deal. You got to pay that guy $46 million? Jesus criminy. You see what the Lakers did? They gave LeBron James nearly $100 million for the next 2 years. For what? What is that, a retirement fund? They did the same shit to Kobe. They gave Kobe like, what was it, 50 some odd million dollars back when the money was different for 2 years? They never made the playoffs and they never sniffed it. It doesn't, you get caught in those contracts like that. Still, Seattle made it to the NFC Championship game the next season. And then another Super Bowl. Russell Wilson. If Hurts does work out and he turns the corner, cornerback, tight end, I don't know, maybe O-line. Jordan Davis, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Well, let's hope he starts first. Is he starting? So you're going to take a guy out of the building that making 12.9 and 14.4. You got $30 million tied up in 2 defensive tackles. And you're going to sit the guy. Is that right? Interesting. Sounds smart. All right. Got to take a timeout. Please hit the like button. Hour 3. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. Glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, 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 and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Yeah, okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Hour 3 National Football Show. We appreciate you guys coming aboard like you do each and every single day. Thank you so much. Dave asked a question, and Dave, I've not been asked this question. Please hit the like button, guys. Dan, in your opinion, what is Hurts' major issue playing the quarterback position? Dave, the two issues I have are accuracy and processing. Processing the intel. I don't want him taking off running when plays break down. You know, and I said this before. Brady has to be an effective progression reader. Why is that? Same thing with Manning. Same thing with Stafford. Same thing with any of these guys. Why is that? Because they don't have the ability to take off running. So get this. When you have that ability to take off running, you're really not developing the quarterback play and your ability to read. Because if Brady doesn't get that football out on time, he's going to get destroyed. Jalen could just take off. And he breaks the integrity of the play down every time. Every single time. Hey, and eventually what's going to happen is that the more you keep taking off, the more you keep getting pounded, the more you keep getting hit, it's going to take its toll on your play and your ability to throw the ball. How many times did you watch Cam Newton early on in a regular season, and Cam Newton is killing it, putting 350 yards up? By the end of the year, the ball's high, he's injured, he's missing a couple plays, then he misses a game. Then he misses a couple. Yeah, the war of attrition wears his ass out. If you're concerned about Joe Burrow getting hit 70 times and sacked 70 times, can you imagine if you added another 145 carries to that? The chances of him surviving a career are nothing. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mixon, all those guys have no numbers. You're not moving the chains if he's constantly running and part of the running attack. Your quarterback can't be a major, hey, and again, this is why I think you have a problem in Baltimore with what they want to do. I really do think Steve Bisciotti and DaCosta and John Harbaugh, I think they love Lamar Jackson. But have you seen enough for Lamar Jackson to say that he can win a Super Bowl? Have you seen enough from that guy? And that guy is 5 times the player Jalen is. He's totally 5 times the player he is. Unanimous MVP. I mean, this guy was 14-2 one year? Oh, man. I think they struggle with that. I would. Am I going to give that guy $250 or $240 million in guaranteed money knowing the next hit could be the end? And the last 2 years, he struggled with health. So again, it's more accuracy. And it's more of progression reading that I have with him. Look, all the other stuff, we know all the other stuff. But you've got to be accurate. Nick, best fan bases, Philly, Boston. I think San Francisco's got a pretty damn good fan base. I do. I think they got a pretty good one. That Saints team, they got a pretty good one. And then people talk about the Giants. Giants used to have really great fans. I don't know now if it's the same. I don't know if it's the same. Washington, when Washington was at RFK, they had a great fan base. Lamar Jackson, number one receivers, and his number one receiver was Hollywood Brown. Yeah, cute. No one wants to play there. Did you hear what he said too? As much as this morning, Hollywood Brown said this: I never felt wanted there, and I never felt needed. You think that you hear Hollywood Brown saying that any wide receiver is going to be sitting there wanting to line up to go play with Lamar Jackson? You're going to have to draft your guy. You just never know, Sills. Mahomes, Watson, quarterback class was considered weak, but okay, all true, Flex. Flex, that stuff is all true. But why wouldn't you want uncertainty? The quarterback evaluation, which you failed at with Carson Wentz, it's a crapshoot. Nobody in their right mind thought that Patrick Mahomes coming out of, Texas Tech, was going to be a superstar player. Nobody thought that. You're right. You never know. But why not take the odds down by going for the certainty? Watson's a certainty. He's proven it. He's a player. You know it. Let's go draft a guy and crapshoot again on whether or not he makes it in the NFL. And then you could be in line with Zach Wilson and Justin Fields and still trying to figure out if Trey Lance is the guy. Even Kyle Shanahan's tenor in the way he talks about Trey Lance. Hey, he's improved a little at just about everything. What's that mean? Is he better than a year ago? Well, he's improved a little. Shit, a little? That ain't enough, kid. Garoppolo got you to the NFC Championship game. You better get – the 49ers have to get to a Super Bowl for this to be successful now. And win it. And win it. Q, I never thought Hollywood Brown's a frontline guy anyway. Devontae Smith is 10 times the player Hollywood Brown is. I would take Devontae Smith 10 out of 10 times. I think Hollywood Brown. Now, again, could it be the quarterback? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see with Kyler Murray now. If he's more accurate or if he's more consistent. We'll see. Well, someone's going to be right. Hollywood Brown or the Ravens? Someone's going to be right here with that. We'll see. Because DeAndre Hopkins is not going to be available for the Cardinals early on in the season. We'll see who's right here. Brian says Jordan Davis is, I'm assuming, the next Fletcher Cox. If you get Fletcher Cox 2.0, that's a great draft choice. That's a great draft choice. Eagle Man, so by Dan's logic, if the pocket collapses, settle for a sack. No, throw it away. No, throw it away. So you think the Bengals, if the play breaks down, they want Joe Burrow taking off for first downs, or do you think they want him punting it, kicking it, rolling it, throwing it into the stands? What grounding it? What do you think they prefer? What do you think Zach Taylor prefers? He take off running for the sticks? You think Andy Reid thinks and wants Patrick Mahomes taking off for the sticks if a receiver's not open? Or do you think he wants him to live another play and live for another down? What do you think he wants him to do? Take off by the chance that this guy gets derailed and decleated? You think Andy Reid would rather have an incomplete pass than him taking off for a first down and getting decleated and possibly ended for the season? Ask any coach with his right mind. I don't want my guy taking off. Throw it away. We have a punter for a reason. Philosophy? It's called common sense, my friend. Wrong, Dan. If the quarterback has mobility and speed. Yeah, because that always wins. That always wins. Sure. When all four quarterbacks in the conference championship games were drop back guys who could barely run. Congratulations to you. You're wrong. GT, why do players like Debo get credit for wide receiver, but a quarterback can get credit for QB and RB? I don't. That's a good point. I don't really. But see, wait a minute here. GT, the quarterback does get credit because he gets paid for that. Lamar's going to get paid because of his versatility and his production. Debo is going to get paid for being a wideout. Remember when it wasn't Shockey. Who was the other guy? Jimmy Graham. Remember when Jimmy Graham wanted a different designation. He wanted to be like a hybrid wideout or something like that, right? Because tight ends don't make as much money as wideouts because of the cap and, you know, how much you look at particular guys. So, hey, Eagle Man, you go ahead and you keep your style. We'll agree to disagree. That's you just agree to disagree. I'm not putting a quarterback like that style in my huddle because I know it does not result in wins. No, take that back. Wins that matter. You can have that style, and you could be Michael Vick for 10 years. Congratulations. You'll sell a lot of tickets. I'm not saying the Eagles need anybody to sell tickets, but some places, they'll sell you a lot of tickets. It'll be a great face of your franchise. You sell a lot of gear. Vic will be on the cover of Madden. Everything will be great, except winning a Super Bowl or playoff games that matter. Congratulations to you. It's all good. I'm going to win with what has won in this league for 100 years. It's not changed. Ask Vic how many complete seasons he played. Ask how he feels about his – yeah, he's beat up. He's beat up. That style never wins. It just doesn't. Doesn't win games that matter. Russell's not an – no. That's a good example. Let me take a look at that. People have this notion. I think that's a stereotype on Russell Wilson, actually. I actually think that that's a stereotype because I remember when that idiot Stephen A. Smith said, "Oh, Dwayne Haskins, he's a real mobile guy and he gets out in the open." I go, why? Because he's black? He had 100 yards rushing that year in college. The guy didn't do his homework. It was a stereotype. Had 100 yards rushing. Russell Wilson. Let's take a look at Russell Wilson's let's take a look at something here. Here we go here. Let's see, take a look here. I want to take a look at something. Okay. Early on in his career, he ran because he was learning to become a player and a progression reader. Then after that, 249 yards rushing, 350 yards rushing, 322 yards rushing. In his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, hasn't had a season over 340 yards. What's 340 times 17? We'll do 16. 340. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see what that comes out to. How many yards a game you think this mobile quarterback is doing? It's 20 yards a game. That's mobile? That's a mobile quarterback. You think Russell Wilson running the ball 20 yards a game is mobile? It's a stereotype. Okay, it's early on. Russell Wilson in his second year threw for 33 touchdowns. Okay? Sills, do you think Quez can be a Tyler Lockett? I like this kid. I really do. I like him. Marcus, that's a good question, Marcus. What do you consider mobile? I consider pocket presence mobile. The great quarterback that sits around in the pocket, slides his feet, creates passing lanes. You may not think that this is what your definition of mobile is. I actually thought Ben Roethlisberger in his early day was mobile. Ben moved around in the pocket and got all those wideouts and Le'Veon Bell and everybody wide open. I think guys that move around in the pocket and are able – I think Russell Wilson's spectacular in how he runs. I think he's spectacular because he runs when everything else on the planet breaks down. But get this, He's not winning games running the ball. And I guarantee you in Denver, Nathaniel Hackett doesn't want him taking off any longer. Nobody wants their franchise quarterback running for 85 yards a game. That's not a franchise quarterback. That's a franchise running back. If Jalen Hurts, how many rushing yards did he have last year? Jalen Hurts as a runner last year was more elite than passer. What top flight quarterback has that distinction? Not even Lamar. Name me one quarterback that's a winning quarterback in the NFL that his number one asset is running and not throwing. Name him. Give me one. He was an elite runner last year, not passer. He's 27th. Dak is mobile. How many yards did Dak have last year rushing? He had a great year last year, too, statistically. I think they were empty calorie yards. How many yards did Dak Prescott have rushing in 2021?
131, according to some.
He had 131 yards. Would you consider him mobile? I do, because he moves around in the pocket, moving his guys over, trying to get them open. See, again, it's a stereotype. If you ask some meathead, let me be careful. If you ask some meathead reporter if Dak Prescott was mobile, yeah, man, he's a running quarterback. He had 131 yards rushing last year. That ain't mobile. Mobile. What is that? Over 16 games, 131. Come on. Anyway. This guy averaged 8 yards a game rushing. Yeah, that's real mobile. Real mobile. That's right. There's none. There's no elite quarterback in the National Football League that you go like this. This guy is unbelievable running the ball. Man, he is unreal. What about his passing game? Hey, he's not so good. Oh, well, shit. Jalen Hurts would be better than Justin Fields. Agreed. Agreed. There's where we agree on 85. Hey, and you know what, William? I'm with you on that. Man, those Dak Prescott yards. How about this, William? Dak's got a lot of pressure on his ass, too. Bro, you can't get bounced in the opening of the playoffs at home against Jimmy G, and you're making $42 million a year. Sorry, friend. That's buyer's remorse in my book. That ain't working for me. That ain't working for me. You know, hey, you watch me on Dak this year. You start throwing some of them 375-yard games up, and you're getting cranked over and bent over like Denver did last year. And you're getting bent over at home like that. And that same football team, the Eagles beat the hell out of that team. And you get bent over by the Broncos like that? Dude, you got a problem at the quarterback position. I don't care how many yards you're throwing for. I don't care that, man. This guy, they would have had the number one offense and got bounced by the 49ers. That can't work like that. I am said that people can't understand the difference between a scrambling quarterback and a running quarterback. Brian, that's right. They tie the two together. They think because a guy Russell Wilson's a scrambler, okay, and Jalen's a running quarterback. He's not a scrambler. Okay, you're still trying to create plays in the passing game when you're a scrambler. When you're scrambling around in the pocket, Russell Wilson's constantly trying to still create passing plays. When Jalen takes off, he becomes a runner immediately. And that's why he got blown up on the sideline against the Jets. He's not looking to extend the play throwing the ball. He was never looking to extend the play. He was looking to extend the play running it. And that's why the rest, they let that guy hit him like that. And he's going to have more of that when he gets into the regular season. Because scramblers tried to continue to extend the play through the passing game. Running quarterbacks, that's what they are. That's why Cam got blown up. Cam got blown up because when they saw him not trying to extend plays, the referees looked at that this is the design play. He's running. And that's why they officiate that play a little differently for him than, say, a guy like Russell Wilson. You're not going to hit Russell Wilson when he's scrambling around. You're going to pound Jalen Hurts like you did Tim Tebow and them dudes because it's a design play. Sirianni has said it himself. Hey, when no one's open, take off running. Okay. Well, you're going to get hit like that. You take off running, that's not a design play. Refs are not going to give you the benefit because they know you're not a deep passer and you're not a passer anyway. You've got to build credibility up with the refs too. Jalen hasn't. And just because you're a good guy doesn't build credibility up with referees. They let that guy get his ass handed to him on the sidelines in a freaking nothing game against the Jets. Game didn't even matter. But the refs, they thought you really think the referees thought that was, hey, guy hit him out of bounds. That's why he got the flag, not because of the hit. Okay? 85 goes, Skip Bayless thinks Hurts is amazing. He said he's afraid many times. Yeah, Skip Bayless also was a fan of Ryan Leaf and said Ryan Leaf would be the better quarterback over Peyton Manning. Not sure you want to go down that route, friend. Okay? He loves Ryan Leaf, too. And he also thinks Baker Mayfield's a hell of a player. Dan, you're not explaining that none of the quarterbacks you're mentioning never knew how to take a slide. It's a skill set, Eagle Man. You're right. It's a skill set. It's a skill set. Getting down. Carson Wentz is terrible at that skill set. You're talking about another guy who gets blown up. Okay? Wentz is not looking to extend plays, and he gets blown up too. And he's terrible at sliding and getting down. Terrible. That's why Clowney cleaned his clock. Okay? That's why Clowney cleaned his clock and the ref didn't do shit about it. Why? Because Wentz wasn't trying to extend the play scrambling. He just took off running. Well, you're going to be reffed a whole different way than if Joe Burrow takes off. You hit Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert like that, you're going to get a 15-yard personal foul. You hit Jalen Hurts or you hit Justin Fields or you hit any of them young guys, you're going to take the hit unless it's egregious. GT says Sills out of fairness. That was last year. We see much development. You do, GT? So you think he's improved how much, GT? And I asked this question to start the show. How much do you think he's improved this year? 10%, 20%, 2%, 50%? GT, they put him in my opinion, I personally believe that the coaching staff failed Jalen Hurts this offseason and, in my opinion, training camp. They have not trained him for what an NFL season is. An NFL season is a season of adversity. An NFL season happens when the game plan goes to hell and you've got to adapt and you've got to adjust. How many times do we say this about coaches? The greatest asset that Bill Belichick has are his in-game adjustments. Why is that? Because nothing goes down the way you put a game plan together. And just because you have a game plan for the first 20 plays doesn't mean the game plan will keep its integrity throughout the 60 minutes of football. Anybody who's ever played knows you have to have adjustments in every single game you play. And to put a player like Jalen Hurts, who needs to work on his progressions, his accuracy, and to constantly be telling me how great everything's going, shows me you didn't have him prepared great for the upcoming season. I want to know what the kid's going to do when you're down 14 points and you've got to beat the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. Not when shit's going good, and I'm seeing stats on a website, 16-21, 72 touchdowns, and an 800 quarterback rating. That's unrealistic. It's like NFL Pro Days. It's completely unrealistic. Every single thing that the Eagles did in this offseason for Hurts is unrealistic. Everything. He has not been prepared. Mike Vrabel took that kid Willis out of a game. And you know what he told him? Son, I don't need you running, man. There were 3 guys wide open. You need to show this organization and the coaching staff that you understand what progression reading is, because the only way you're going to make it in this league, and again, you know what Mike is doing? He is coaching this kid Willis better than he coached Marcus Mariota, because they allowed Mariota to go down that same process, and he never got better. He never got better. They were not going to make the same mistake with the kid that they just drafted. Okay? They were not. Belichick, let me give you what a daily, weekly experience was for Tom Brady and why it wore him out in New England. Jimmy told me this. Belichick goes down every year. They sit on their bench. Okay? Can't compare a Liberty quarterback to Jalen. Why? So that means we can't compare the guy who did start his career at Auburn. Wasn't like he was a stiff. Okay? Let me tell you exactly. Okay? Belichick would sit here, and I think I've told some of you this. Belichick has his tablet in front of Brady. Brady has his tablet, and they're playing war games. Throws a blitz at him. They're on the same computer, but he puts a blitz and he puts a defense in front of Brady. Brady's got to explain to him what every single player does and their responsibilities and why Brady's calling that particular play. And Belichick puts him in this. You're down 10. It's 2 minutes left going into the half. You got no timeouts. Okay, what are you doing? Belichick told Jimmy Johnson, he goes, you know what Brady finally got in his head? Here's the greatest moment. Brady says this. It's about setting people up. How about that touchdown pass in the NFC Championship game in Green Bay? Going into halftime, Brady finds that white dude going down the sidelines for a touchdown. Packers never recovered. But it was because of what Brady was doing and all the things that Belichick had prepared him for. Hey, they're going to bring dual blitzes here on this. Know this. They're going to bring dual blitzes. They love to do this with 2 minutes left. What are you going to do? No timeouts. And are you just going to get the field goal, or are you going to try for the touchdown? And they would play these war games. That's how you prepare a quarterback. You don't prepare him going, hey, well, if the play's not there, take off running. I hope everything looks good. Doesn't everything look beautiful? Hey, don't talk shit on my guy, D-Gun. Hey, make sure nobody says anything negative about anybody. What the hell is that? What do you think? This is kindergarten? Nick says Hurts will prove everyone wrong. Well, he'll get his chance, man. This guy's had a country club. Training camp. Country club. I personally think they haven't prepared him. Everything. How can everything be so perfect? How many games have you ever seen a quarterback play perfect? In your life, even the great one. How many games have you ever seen? 6 for 6, 80, 16 to 21. Had an A today. Jesus criminy. Don't drink the sauce, man. You're drinking the Kool-Aid. I thought more of it and more of you. You know, people tell me people in Philly are smart football people. Have you ever watched an NFL game where everything went right down the line of perfecto and the game plan that you drew up with your boys on a Tuesday worked on a Sunday? Have you ever? By the way, this is nothing on Jalen. I'm talking about preparation here. The great coaches put you in bad situations because every game is bad moments and bad quarters, bad games. Somebody shuts you down. Somebody's having a spectacular game. Your quarterback is playing great, but your O-line is giving up pressure. All of that happens. Yo goes, people want Hurts to succeed because he seems like, yeah, I think people want Jalen to succeed because he's an underdog. And that's what Philly represents. He's the underdog. They look at Jalen Hurts like this. Carson had everything. First round money, new deal. Okay. I mean, the guy had everything. And Hurts lost his job at Alabama, had to go somewhere else. He's had all these different coaches. People in Philly look at him, and he's the great face of a city. He exactly represents what Philly is. They're underdogs. That's why they love him. And he would be a great face if he pans out. Rocky Balboa figure. Absolutely. Dude, Jalen Hurts, Rocky Balboa, it's the same. And by the way, everyone roots for an underdog. You do. Everyone roots for it. Nick goes, Philly is no longer an underdog city, however. And to the people that live there, well, why do they cover the Cowboys then when you've had 3 times the success the Cowboys have had in the last 30 years? Can you tell me that, Nick? People make the Cowboys sound like the Cowboys have won. You know how the media in this country cover the Cowboys? You would swear that the Cowboys had the Patriot dynasty. The way we cover the Cowboys. We cover the Cowboys like they're actually the Patriots. And they've won all these games. And you're like, that's not quite the case. They've got 3 playoff wins in the last 27 years. Joe Buck. Is that what you say, Keith? Bro, you're comparing a second-year coach to Bill Belichick, who flaked out in his first job. Actually, it ran out of gas there a little bit. Yeah, okay. Nick Sirianni, though? Okay. Tell you what, that Zach Taylor did a pretty nice job with Joe Burrow. And then, as I said, I think Sirianni, I think it's a nice start. I'm not ready to crown him some sort of Andy Reid here. Or for that matter, Doug Peterson. Justin says that the Cowboys shouldn't be in the East, but Jerry Jones forced that. They've always been in the East. And that was more of, what was that guy's name? Tex Schramm. That was more of a Tex Schramm deal. And Clint Richardson, who owned the team initially. That was more of those guys because the television back in the day and most of the eyeballs are on the NFC East. That's why it's called the Tiffany division. The Tiffany division in the NFL, where the most ratings are, is the NFC East. More people live there. That's where the bulk of our country's population is. That's why you want to be in the NFC East. Being in the NFC East, you got eyeballs on your team. Okay? 215 says 12-5 NFC East champs. Yeah. 11. I think more 11, but okay. Who wins the Super Bowl first? Tua, Herbert, Hurts, Joe, or Mac Jones? Boy, I love Justin Herbert, man. Well, I do. Xander's like, Joe B, man. Hey, dude, I watch this. I know I'm going to get killed for this. There's a quality about that Joe Burrow guy that reminds me of Tom Brady. I'm sorry. Hey, can you imagine this? All the shitty quarterbacks that Ohio State's put out, they let that guy walk out the building. Now I know like Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer had that guy, him and Ryan Day. And they went, hey, you know, God rest his soul, Dwayne Haskins. Justin Fields was rolling in from Georgia. And they went to Joe Burrow. We don't really have any room for you. Can you imagine that? And Joe Burrow still is a solid dude to the Buckeye faithful. He's still a good dude. He's still a good dude to them. I'd kill them. You let me out of the building, I went and won a Heisman National title, and I got an AFC championship inside of 3 years. Think of what Joe Burrow's done. This guy's like, it's like Magic Johnson stuff. It's like Magic Johnson stuff. In 3 years of football, he's won a national title, a Heisman Trophy, and AFC championship. Jesus Christ. Yeah. That's unbelievable. Joe's cooler than Brady? I know. And in Cincinnati. Who would have thought that shit? Burrow's playoff run was overrated. Yeah, because the Bengals are known to be one of those quality team crushers of other teams in the postseason. Yeah, it was what did he say? It was overrated. Burrow's playoff run was overrated. As a Bengal? As a Bengal. Yeah. Dude, there's nothing overrated about playing in Cincinnati and taking a team to the Super Bowl, and you're a quarter away from winning it. There's nothing overrated about that. That'd be like Zach Wilson taking the Jets this year to the Super Bowl and winning it. That'd have to be one up on him. Jesus. Hey, Yale, I know. What do you have, 9 or 11 sacks in that game? Dude, they had 7 in the Super Bowl just in those 2 games. You had 18 sacks on Joe Burrow, and he was still standing up at the end of the game, barely. And you want a running quarterback. Good luck. Hey, Eagle fan, me and Xander have a plan. You ready? Yeah, let's stay with Jalen for 2 years. Let's stay with Jalen for 2 more years. When that guy in Cincinnati's contract comes up, you know, the Browns, they start getting like alligators. You know, the guy that never reaches for the check, you know, when it's like dinner time. Hey, oh yeah, you know, I left my wallet, and yeah, you know, I don't have it. Can you, I'll get you back on the next time. Yeah. And, you know, the guy that's got those hands like this, right? You know, he's got those hands like this, right? Hey, is that the check? Damn, I can't reach it. Jeez. Dang. You know that guy. That's Mike Brown, the owner of the Bengals. Let me pick up that contract. I can't reach it. Well, reach out, dog. I am. Oh, okay. All of a sudden, here comes your boy, Howie Roseman. He comes in like the Wizard of Oz. Just follow the yellow brick road, Joe. At least to the NovaCare Center. Man, shit. You talk Brady getting 5% of the Dolphins? I'd be like this. Hey, Joe, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you $300 million guaranteed, and I'll give you 5% because I can't pay everything. I'll give you 5% of the Eagles. You know, let me think about it. Man, I'd back up everything for that dude. I don't do shots anymore, Michael. I can't do shots. Shots are no good for big sills. Gives me agita, no good. NovaCare Center's the place to be. Yeah, man. If you want everything told to you, everything's perfect. It's a great place. It's like a kindergarten place. Hey, everybody. Let's sit around and let's read Winnie the Pooh. Nick Sirianni reading Winnie the Pooh and Curious George. I love it. It's a first time for everything, and Bengals owner will pay Burrow. Okay. Hey, yeah, because that'll change because the Browns have been known to do that. They argued over $300,000 with Carson Palmer. They argued over $300,000. This is going to be $300 million. And I'm on the light side of that. Joe Burrow's going to command $500 million. I said Carson Palmer. Didn't I? Yeah, I got it. Dude, it's Carson Palmer. This is Joe Burrow. Cheap is cheap, though, dude. Cheap is cheap. I got to take a timeout. I think hopefully I'm all good here. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Make sure you do this with our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. If you're hurt or injured on the job, one of the most important things that you can do for your family is to get fair compensation for your family. And going to Morgan & Morgan is the top thing that you will do. Last 30 years, they've collected over $13.5 billion worth of compensation for their clients. And for the people is not a slogan, I promise you. 800 attorneys strong, with offices in Philadelphia, New York, and in Florida. Nobody will go and do a better job for you when it comes to fighting for your rights. No such thing as fender benders and no such thing as small cases. Like I said, call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation's free. 800-512-1600. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, do me a favor. Tell them Dan Sileo sent you.
After a car crash, the big insurance companies you see advertising on TV, they may try to downplay your case and might say it's only a fender bender or it's just a herniated disc. I worry that some law firms fall for this BS. Not us. We put ourselves in your shoes and ask, what would it be like to be in your pain for the rest of our lives? $1 million wouldn't be enough for me. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. Glasses for cocktails, right?
It's for this, 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 and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
National Football Show, your boy Big Sills. Appreciate it. Nick, nothing like cruising the I-95 through Philly. Hey, dude, I lived right off the I-95. I used to go down to the Jersey Shore. I lived in the Cove in Stamford, Connecticut. And, dude, that 95, man, woof. Yeah. Hey, dude, right this time right now, let me think. You probably don't have to do too much paying attention. I'm pretty sure that you're oh, and make sure you have $5 going over the bridge. Better have $5 always, baby. I got you. Hey, man, I got it. I know, man. Oh, man. Hey, real quick here, man. Dude, I am really jealous of the NBA guys. Can you imagine being a loser like Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving and Kawhi Leonard, who goes like this? Yeah, I don't think I can play back-to-back, load management, makes $50 million a year. This guy makes like $500,000 a night. Yeah, I don't think I can play. Kyrie's like this. Well, it's Festivus Day, and you know what that means, right? It's a national holiday. I'm sorry? Yeah. Don't you know it's National Meteor Day? This is the day where you get to pick out your favorite meteor. I'm not missing that night. You think I'm going to have a game? If I'm Kyrie Irving, you think I'm going to play a night against the Knicks in the Garden to miss Meteor Night? Get the wrong guy here, man. Yeah, but I'm paying you $500,000 a night. It's Meteor Night, dude. You know what I think of that stuff. You know what I think of the constellations. Don't ruin it. Sean Mark said, okay, sorry, dude. Kawhi Leonard's like, yeah, I can't play, man. My back hurts. I'm jealous. Hey, yeah, Jeremiah, it's Festivus night. Festivus for all of us, right? Oh, Brian, these NBA guys, man, they're totally obnoxious. Hey, but I did make can I say this? USA Today had National Creamsicle Day. It sounds a little soft, doesn't it? Big Sills is in it. If you go over to my Twitter page, you can click the link. USA Today had Creamsicle Day of all the Buccaneers, and Big Sills made it. I think Testaverde's on there. I think Sapp's on there. Big Sills is on it too. Yes. So it's National Creamsicle Day. Yeah. I'll take anything. You know me. Okay. I'm a media whore at times, so I'll take it. I saw it. Someone sent it to me. They go, hey, you're in USA Today. Really? What happened now? What did I say? That's usually my first response. What did I say? No. It's a picture of you playing against the Rams. What? Yeah, and they go, no, it's here. Let me send it to you. I was like, okay, I guess I am playing against the Rams. There I am. Playing against the Rams. I was like, okie dokie. So, yeah, no, my wife goes, oh, congratulations. You made National Creamsicle Day. Yeah. Hey, Justin, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Great job. He's like, oh, man. Sills. Hey, you know what? Someone asked me today. We were talking about the top 25 because I put my top 25 in for the Associated Press, and I got these teams. Watch this, Xander. Last year I had. By the way, Xander criticized me because I put Georgia number 1 in my preseason. Hey, Don. I put Georgia number 1. You can't put Georgia number 1. You can't. Oh, see? Typical Philly media guy, Xander is. Where's Miami? I got him 16th. But I picked Georgia last year to win it. I was right. Bama's going to win it this year. Hey, what a leap. I got Bama, Georgia, OSU, Clemson. Those are your top 4 teams. You can have the field. Okay, who are you taking? Are you taking one of those 4 teams to win the national title? And I'll give you the field. You can have any team in there's 139 Division I college football programs. I'll take 4. I'll take 4. Bro, Nick, Penn State is 18 and like 17 in the last 3 years. That coach you have, man, he better do some better recruiting. They're not really playing all that well. I don't know how that guy, James Franklin, got $10 million a year. The guy at Michigan State's doing a better job. Just saying. If you look in the last 2.5 years, they're 1 game over 500 in Happy Valley. Mr. Snuffy, Bama's going to win it. Yeah, Andrew, they're going to win it. You got, hey, and Notre Dame is the Dallas Cowboys of college football. Notre Dame. Oh, man, Notre Dame. Most overrated program in the history of college football. History of college football. Let's see. How many national titles has Notre Dame won in the last 50 years? Miami's got 5. Okay? Miami's got 5 in the last 40 years. How many does Notre Dame have? Let's see. They won one in 88, 76, 73, and 68. I mean, those are some pretty big gaps. I mean, like the Cowboys. They haven't won a national title since 88, but you would swear the way people cover that thing that Notre Dame is like, you know, I mean, in the last, since 1988, they haven't won anything. And every time they get into games against Bama, Bama puts their 4th team in with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Bama's got their 4th team in, and they're doing this. Hey, Xander, why don't you come out of the stands? Why don't you put 007 on? Come on, Xander. Xander, come on, man. You want to play wideout? Come on, dog. Xander's like, he's sitting in the student section at Paul Denny. Well, come on. Here's Nick Saban. Hey, you want to play? Getting them out of the stands. Hook 'em horns. Yeah, they've been great too. So 76 and 2000 something. They've got 2 in the last 50 years. That sounds good. The 2 most successful programs in the last 40 years have been Alabama and Miami. Miami's got 5 national championships. Bama's got a ton of them now with Saban and a coach, I forget his name, who beat us actually in the Sugar Bowl. Yeah. Anyway, hey, great stuff as always. Thank you guys so much. Man, I'll tell you what, JAKIB Sports too, if you want to go over, take a look at some of the videos that John McMullen puts up. They're fantastic. Thank you so much. I thought Joe Theismann was great earlier today. We thank you very much. Please hit the like button. Till tomorrow, Xander, great job. Till tomorrow, 3 to 6 Eastern. We'll see you on the flip side.